Chapter 311. Oh? Qin Haodong just nodded slightly. As a cultivator, he didn't care about these worldly things. Lin Momo continued to say excitedly, the most rare thing is that Maldini Jr. is still unmarried. He's definitely a world-class bachelor, the object of countless girls' pursuit. Still unmarried? Qin Haodong was slightly surprised and said, old Maldini is in his 80s this year, and his son should be in his 50s or 60s. Why is he still unmarried? Lin Momo said, you don't know this. Old Maldini has 3 sons. Maldini Jr. is the youngest and he was born late. He's less than 40 years old this year. After a pause, she said with a puzzled face, but Maldini Jr. has always been healthy. He was on the cover of an economic magazine a few days ago. Why did he come to you for treatment? Qin Haodong shook his head and said, I don't know. I didn't ask him what's wrong with him. It was said that every woman had a heart of gossip, and Lin Momo was no exception. She immediately guessed, Maldini Jr. is still unmarried and he doesn't even have a girlfriend. Do you think there's something wrong with him in that aspect? Qin Haodong reached out and pinched her leg. He said with a smile, Mom, you think too much. It has nothing to do with you whether there's anything wrong with him or not. You just need to know that I'm fine. You're so annoying. Lin Momo blushed and slapped his big hand away. While talking and laughing, they arrived at the Jiangnan Club. After parking the car, they got out of the car hand in hand and walked to the gate of the club together. Lin Momo's slim-fitting evening dress revealed her graceful figure without reservation. Her smooth lines were enough to make any world-famous model feel ashamed of their inferiority. Along the way, she attracted the jealous eyes of countless women and countless envious eyes of countless men. At the gate of the club, a young man in a suit was standing there, flirting with several scantily dressed women. His eyes lingered greedily on the exposed cleavage of the women's breasts and the long legs under the hem of their skirts. Suddenly he saw Qin Haodong and Lin Momo coming from afar. He suddenly looked cold and murmured, Gigolo, how dare you come to my place? The young man was Wang Daji, who had almost licked Qi Wan-er in the dogfighting ring a few days ago. He hated Qin Haodong to the bone, especially when he saw Qin Haodong walking with Lin Momo. Nalan Wushuang, Nalan Wuxia, Qi Wan-er, and Lin Momo today. All the goddess-like beauties he had seen had an inexplicable relationship with Qin Haodong. Second young master, what are you looking at? The women next to him asked. You guys go in first, I have something to do. Wang Daji walked into the club. And Lin Momo and Qin Haodong walked to the Daji. And Qin, Lin. And Qin and Haodong Lin The security guard checked it and returned it respectfully. Then he said to Qin Haodong, Sir, please show me your invitation. I don't have an invitation, sir, the security guard said. I'm sorry, sir. According to the rules, you can't enter the club without an invitation. Lin Momo frowned and said, Can't you bring a companion with an invitation? The security guard said, Miss, that was in the past. Today everyone has to show an invitation. His tone was very polite, but his eyes were full of contempt and jealousy for Qin Haodong. He despised Qin Haodong for being a gigolo for a woman, and he was jealous that Qin Haodong could be a gigolo for a beautiful and rich woman like Lin Momo. Forget it, Momo. You go in. I'll wait for you outside. Qin Haodong was not interested in banquets. If he hadn't wanted to accompany Lin Momo, he wouldn't have come at all. Hearing his words, the 2 security guards were relieved. In fact, there was no rule at all. It was Wang Daji who asked them to stop Qin Haodong. Qin Haodong didn't care, but Lin Momo couldn't do it. At this time, another young man and woman walked in. They only used an invitation, which made Lin Momo even more annoyed. It was obvious that they were targeting her. She glanced at the 2 security guards coldly and asked in a serious tone, Let me ask you, who made the rule that we can't bring companions with us today? The 2 security guards were speechless for a while. They couldn't say that Wang Daji had asked them to target Qin Haodong. I did. What's wrong? Fortunately, Wang Daji didn't want the 2 pawns to break through the enemy line. He walked directly out from behind the door. It's you? Lin Momo said angrily, Wang Daji, what are you doing? Are you targeting me? Sister Lin, don't be angry. It has nothing to do with you. Wang Daji seemed to be very familiar with Lin Momo. He glanced at Qin Haodong and said, I just don't want this bumpkin to go in. Look at his clothes. He doesn't deserve the identity of our club at all. Qin Haodong didn't expect to meet Wang Daji here. A playful smile appeared on his face. He first looked at his clothes, then looked up at Wang Daji and said, Master Wang, are you sure it's not because I beat you too badly in the military division last time, Or because you almost licked the tip of my shoes in public in the dogfighting ring a few days ago? The two security guards were shocked. They had thought that Qin Haodong was just a gigolo. They didn't expect him to be such a ruthless character. He even dared to beat their young master. Wang Daji's embarrassment was exposed in public. He blushed with shame and shouted angrily, "Qin Haodong, no matter what you say, this is the Wang family's club. I won't let you in today." Seeing that Wang Daji was targeting Qin Haodong, Lin Momo's face suddenly became cold. She said, "Wang Daji, are you sure you want to do this?" Wang Daji said arrogantly, "Sister Lin, you can go in. I won't stop you, but not this bumpkin." "Well, I won't go either." Lin Momo took Qin Haodong's arm and turned to leave. "Goodbye, Master Wang." Qin Haodong smiled and waved at Wang Daji. He was not interested in this kind of party. It was better to go home to accompany his daughter and then do something with his mother. Seeing that Lin Momo was about to leave, Wang Daji suddenly became anxious. He thought of the purpose of his father's banquet today. Cold sweat broke out on his forehead. He quickly stopped Lin Momo and said, "Sister Lin, don't go. I'm not targeting you." Lin Momo said coldly, "Haodong is my boyfriend. If you don't let him in, you're targeting me." "Sister Lin, this is our personal grievance. It has nothing to do with you. I don't care so much. Anyway, if you don't let Haodong in today, I won't go." After Lin Momo said that, she took Qin Haodong and walked around Wang Daji. Wang Daji was completely in a dilemma. If he let Qin Haodong enter the club, not only would he not be able to swallow it, but he would also lose face. However, if Lin Momo left, he could not afford the consequences. At this moment, a middle-aged man with extraordinary temperament appeared at the door of the club and said loudly, "Momo, where are you going?" Lin Momo looked back and said to the middle-aged man, "Uncle Wang, I'm here to attend the banquet, but Daji won't let my companion in, so we have to go back." The middle-aged man was Wang Haiding, the chairman of Haitian Group and the president of the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce. After hearing Lin Momo's words, Wang Haiding glared at Wang Daji and said, "Bastard, I asked you to greet the guests at the door, but you're making trouble here. You even dare to stop Sister Lin. I'll deal with you later." After reprimanding Wang Daji, he said to Lin Momo with a smile, "Momo, you know that Daji has been a bastard since he was a child. Don't lower yourself to his level. Let's go in." Wang Haiding was Lin Momo's elder. Naturally, Lin Momo could not refute him. She turned to look at Qin Haodong. Qin Haodong smiled slightly, indicating that he didn't care. It was all up to Lin Momo. Wang Haiding saw the close communication between the two of them, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. "Uncle Wang, let's go in." Lin Momo said hello to Wang Haiding, then took Qin Haodong's arm and turned around to walk into the club. "Master Wang, I'm going in." Qin Haodong waved to Wang Daji again with a smile that could make people die of anger. "You?" Wang Daji was furious. He had just said that he couldn't let Qin Haodong in today, but in the blink of an eye, Qin Haodong had swaggered into the gate and he couldn't stop him. Only he could understand this kind of feeling of grievance. Looking at the disappearing figures of the two people, the smile on Wang Haiding's face slowly disappeared, replaced by a cold expression. His Haitian group was mainly engaged in the real estate and financial industry. It was not involved in the pharmaceutical industry at all, so he didn't know about the blood revival elixir that had recently shocked the pharmaceutical industry, let alone who Qin Haodong was. He turned to look at Wang Daji and said, "Do you have a grudge against that person?" Wang Daji didn't want to say that he had been punished by Qin Haodong, so he just nodded. Wang Haiding asked again, "What does he do?" "He's just a little doctor with no real skills. He deceives women to make a living with his pretty face. Some time ago he was with two girls from the Nalan family. Wang Daji ate, drank, whored and gambled all day long. He did everything but did not do proper business. He did not care about the current financial affairs. In his opinion, Qin Haodong was a gigolo who lived off women. He's just a little doctor. How can he compare with the descendants of our Wang family?" Wang Haiding sneered disdainfully and said, "Let's talk about your grudge with that guy later. Today is your brother's important day. Don't lose sight of the big picture because of a small thing. Don't ruin your brother's big event." "I know, father." Although Wang Daji was extremely reluctant, he could only agree reluctantly. Wang Haiding was about to leave when he suddenly thought of something. He turned around and said, "You mean that person has an affair with many girls?" Wang Daji said, "Of course, he's just a little boy who lives off women. I've seen 3 of them before Lin Momo." Wang Haiding smiled coldly and said, "Get ready. It's best to have photos of him with those girls. They may be useful later." Seemingly aware of Wang Haiding's intention, Wang Daji immediately said, "Okay, father. I have them in my hands now." He did collect some photos of Qin Haodong with other women in the past few days. He originally wanted to show them to Nalan Wushuang, but it just happened to be useful today. A large number of social celebrities, business elites and handsome men and beautiful women had gathered in the club. However, when Qin Haodong and Lin Momo walked in hand, the others were suddenly overshadowed. Lin Momo had the title of the first beauty in the south of the Yangtze River. She had participated in countless commercial activities, but she had never had a male companion. Today she walked in with a man so intimately. Qin Haodong immediately attracted the envious and hateful eyes of countless men. If eyes could kill, he would definitely die 10,000 times. Chapter 312. It's nothing. He's just a gigolo who lives off a woman. A sour voice came over. Lin Momo's face darkened. She was about to lose her temper, but Qin Haodong stopped her. Ignore them. What's wrong with living off a woman? I like to live off you. Being able to live off Miss Lin is also a skill. Qin Haodong laughed. He was not interested in dealing with these boring people. He took Lin Momo to a corner and sat down. He asked, "Does the Jiangnan Club belong to the Wang family?" Lin Momo said, "Yes, it belongs to the Wang family. Wang Haiding is the president of the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce, so the Chamber of Commerce usually chooses this place for all activities." "Are you familiar with the Wang family?" Lin Momo said, "The Lin family and the Wang family are in the same Chamber of Commerce and have some economic dealings. Naturally, we are familiar with each other. Another important reason is that Wang Haiding's eldest son, Wang Deshang, was my college classmate, so I am more familiar with him than others." Qin Haodong nodded and asked, "How many sons does Wang Haiding have?" "2 sons. Wang Daji is the youngest son. He has been naughty since he was a child. When he grew up, he relied on the power of the Wang family to eat, drink and gamble. He is a real playboy. The eldest son, Wang Deshang, is the opposite of him. He has been excellent since he was a child. When he was in college, he not only ranked among the best in the whole school, but also was the president of the student union. In addition, he is tall, handsome and good at communication. He is the idol of thousands of girls. There are rows of girls chasing after him. Is he that awesome?" Qin Haodong laughed and said, "Have you ever pursued him?" Lin Momo glared at him and said, "Of course not. What? Didn't you say he was excellent?" Qin Haodong was also a little curious. "Wang Deshang is indeed excellent, but I don't know why I always feel that he is too scheming, so I have always maintained a relationship with him as an ordinary classmate." Speaking of this, Lin Momo suddenly sighed. "Do you know Xiao Xiao?" Qin Haodong said, "The general manager of Dreamy Jiangnan? Of course I know her." Lin Momo said, "Do you know why Xiao Xiao hasn't found a boyfriend for so many years?" Qin Haodong said, "Does it have anything to do with Wang Deshang?" "It's not a relationship. She has been waiting for Wang Deshang." Lin Momo took the red wine from the waiter, took a sip and said with a reminiscing expression, "Xiao Xiao was one of Wang Deshang's many pursuers. I tried to persuade her, but she didn't listen and fell in love with Wang Deshang." "What happened next? The two of them are together?" Lin Momo nodded and said, "Wang Deshang chose Xiao Xiao. They fell in love for 4 years in college. From their appearance they are a good match. Many people call them a golden boy and a jade girl." She paused here, but Qin Haodong did not urge her. He tasted the red wine and waited for her to continue. Lin Momo suddenly changed the topic. She lowered her voice and said, "Wang Haiding's Haitian group wasn't that big. It was just an ordinary construction company. Xiao Xiao's father was an official with real power in Jiangnan City. After Wang Deshang and Xiao Xiao fell in love, the Wangs got in touch with Xiao Xiao's father. They got the land that other people couldn't get, and they got loans that other people couldn't get. This made Haitian group rise at a rocket-like speed. It can be said that Xiao Xiao's father gave the Wangs a great opportunity and created today's Haitian group. Because of this, Wang Haiding was among the top 10 richest people in Jiangnan City." Hearing this, Qin Haodong seemed to feel something and asked, "What happened then? Wang Deshang is not using Xiao Xiao, is he?" Lin Momo said, "You guessed it. Xiao Xiao's father had an accident and died in a car accident. Xiao Xiao had just graduated from college at that time." Qin Haodong asked, "Then Wang Deshang abandoned Xiao Xiao?" "Everyone thinks so, but Xiao Xiao doesn't think so." Lin Momo said, "After Xiao Xiao's family had an accident, Wang Deshang didn't give her much comfort. On the contrary, he went to study in M country alone. In my opinion, he killed the donkey after it was no longer of use. He abandoned Xiao Xiao as soon as she lost her value. Otherwise, with the financial resources of the Wangs at that time, It would have been easy to take Xiao Xiao to M country. However, Xiao Xiao didn't think so. Wang Deshang told her that he would come back, so she waited like a fool. In the blink of an eye, Wang Deshang has been in M country for 5 years. She has been waiting for 5 years. During these 5 years, countless men have pursued her, but Xiao Xiao has rejected them all. I have advised her many times that Wang Deshang is lying to her, but she doesn't believe me. Qin Haodong sighed secretly. She was really an infatuated woman and an unfaithful man. How many years could a woman wait in her life? He didn't expect that Che Xiao Xiao, who looked beautiful and open, was such an infatuated person. While they were talking, Wang Hating came over with a glass of wine. Momo, I heard that you are now the president of 2 big groups. Why are you sitting in this corner with an ordinary person? You should communicate more with everyone. Leaders of big groups like us should communicate more with each other. Only by sharing resources can we benefit each other. These words seem to be the concern of an elder to a younger generation, but in fact he was secretly mocking Qin Haodong for being an ordinary person and asking Lin Momo to keep a distance from him. He didn't know that Qin Haodong was the famous medical sage, nor did he know that Qin Haodong was the developer of the blood revival elixir and the big boss behind Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Company. He completely believed what Wang Daji had said and thought that Qin Haodong was just a man who relied on his face to make a living. Lin Momo had been in the business world for a long time. How could she not understand the meaning of Wang Hating's words? Her face couldn't help but turn cold. She said, Uncle Wang, I like quiet. It's good here. It's my boyfriend's first time here. I'm afraid he'll be bored alone, so I'll accompany him. Her words were soft and hard. She directly pointed out that Qin Haodong was her boyfriend and that he held an important position in her heart. Wang Hating's face changed slightly, but he was very shrewd. He quickly regained his smile and said, Momo, in fact, you don't need to be so anxious to find a boyfriend. Men and women should be equal in ability and identity. Now that Deshang is back, you should be more intimate. Qin Haodong immediately understood. No wonder Wang Hating attached so much importance to Lin Momo. It turned out that he was thinking about Lin Momo for his son. Lin Momo didn't care about this. All her attention was attracted by Wang Deshang's return. She asked in surprise, Uncle Wang, is Deshang really back? The reason why she was so excited was that she was happy for her good sister. However, Wang Hating didn't know so much. He thought that Lin Momo was also one of his son's pursuers, so he immediately said proudly, Yes, Deshang is back. You'll see him later. He looked at Qin Haodong again and asked, Young man, what do you do? I'm a doctor, a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner. A traditional Chinese medicine practitioner? Wang Hating's mouth was full of disdain. How could a little doctor compare with his son? He said, the prospects of traditional Chinese medicine were not good, but now there are changes. Deshang came back from M country to strengthen the traditional Chinese medicine industry. I'll talk to him later. For Momo's sake, I'll ask him to arrange a position for you. Qin Haodong stopped Lin Momo, who was about to speak, with a smile on his face and said, Then I'll have to trouble you, Boss Wang. If one looked carefully, they would find that his smile was full of disdain. This old man wanted to poach Qin Haodong. His relationship with Lin Momo was definitely stronger than reinforced concrete. It could be said that their love was stronger than gold. How could he poach Qin Haodong? Qin Haodong's performance made Wang Hating completely lose interest in him. Such a young man didn't deserve to be his son's opponent. He turned to Lin Momo and said, Momo, take a rest here first. Deshang is dealing with something. He'll be here soon. Then he walked to another group of guests with a glass of wine. Lin Momo glared at his back angrily. She turned to Qin Haodong and said, He belittled you like this. Aren't you angry? Why should I be angry? Qin Haodong said with a smile, If a 2-year-old child punched you, would you be angry? A player at his level doesn't deserve my anger at all. But I can't bear to see others look down on you. Although Qin Haodong's words made sense, Lin Momo was still angry. Qin Haodong said with a smile, You should be happy that I'm looked down on. If everyone thinks I'm good and competes to marry their daughter to me, how many rivals will you have? Lin Momo glared at him and said, Are there still few now? While the two of them were flirting, Gao Fengwen and Xin Xiangfu were sitting in the VIP room next door. There were more than a dozen people with them. In addition to the heads of the 5 major clinics in Jiangnan City, the rest were also famous old Chinese medicine doctors. Opposite them stood a young man in his 20s, wearing a light yellow casual shirt and a pair of light white jeans. Although his clothes looked a little ordinary, they could not hide his handsomeness. His cheeks were thin and angular, his nose was straight and his eyes were deep. Obviously, he was a pure Asian, but he brought people a kind of Western gentleman's beauty. He always had a faint smile on his face. This smile made people feel that it was especially friendly, and at the same time, it gave people a feeling of calmness and magnanimity. At this time he was facing a group of old men. If there were any women, they would have already rushed up to him. This was a man that all young girls in their teens and young women in their 30s and 40s liked. The young man said, "Seniors, let me introduce myself. My name is Wang Deshang, and my father is Wang Hating of Haitian Group." "Young Master Wang, you've invited us old men here. What's the matter?" The speaker was an old man in a long robe. He was the head of Jiangnan Xuanhu House, Fu Hailong. "Of course I have something to do, otherwise I wouldn't dare to waste your time." Wang Deshang had a smile on his face as he spoke, giving people a feeling of spring breeze. "Seniors, I studied in M country for 5 years. This time I came back for only one purpose, which is to develop the traditional Chinese medicine industry. You are all leaders in the traditional Chinese medicine industry, so I naturally can't do without your help. It's a good thing to develop the traditional Chinese medicine industry. I don't know what you want us to do, young Master Wang?" This time it was Liu Baikuan, the head of Jishir Hall, who spoke. Wang Deshang said, "I want to set up a Wuxia Hall of medical fame to integrate the outstanding traditional Chinese medicine doctors in Jiangnan City and promote the development of traditional Chinese medicine together. I hope you can support me." Gao Fengwen asked, "What kind of organization is the Wuxia Hall of Medical Fame? What can it do for traditional Chinese medicine?" Wang Deshang said, "The Wuxia Hall of Medical Fame was established to develop traditional Chinese medicine. We can promote traditional Chinese medicine by means of famous doctors, lectures and lectures. We can develop Chinese patent medicines and health products, and even beauty products with traditional Chinese medicine attributes. We can promote traditional Chinese medicine to society in a comprehensive way." Chapter 313. He paused for a moment as if he was giving everyone time to digest his words. After a while he said, "The reason why traditional Chinese medicine is declining is that everyone has their own way and can't form a system. However, the Wuxia Traditional Chinese Medicine Hall will change this situation dramatically. What we need to do is to integrate traditional Chinese medicine, systematize it, and form a complete industrial chain of traditional Chinese medicine. Then, we can promote traditional Chinese medicine and make a lot of money." Gao Fengwen and the others nodded. Although Wang Deshang's words were a bit general, they sounded similar to Qin Haodong's idea. However, there was a little less flavor. Everything Qin Haodong did was aimed at developing traditional Chinese medicine, while what Wang Deshang said sounded like he was trying to make money. Wang Deshang's eyes swept over the audience and said, "What do you think? Seniors, are you interested in joining my Wuxia Hall of Medical Fame?" "I'm willing. Master Wang is doing a great thing for traditional Chinese medicine. I, Zhang Qianhe, will be the first to stand up and support it." It was Zhang Qianhe, the medical expert who had been taught a lesson by Qin Haodong in Jiangnan Hospital. No one knew if he really saw a business opportunity in Wang Deshang's words or if it was for some other reason, but he was the first to stand up and express his support. "I also agree." Fu Hailong was the second to express his support. "Count this old man in then." Liu Baikuan followed closely behind. Then a few more people expressed their support. However, this situation immediately stopped when it came to Gao Fengwen. Shun Xiangfu and Zhong Sihai looked at each other and felt that since there was already a Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association, there was no need to join the Hall of Medical Fame. Even if they had such an idea, they had to discuss it with Qin Haodong first, so they didn't say anything. Since the three of them didn't say anything, the other members of the Jiangnan Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association naturally didn't say anything. Wang Deshang was slightly surprised to see that less than half of the Chinese medicine practitioners were willing to join the Hall of Medical Fame. In his impression, traditional Chinese medicine was not doing well. As long as someone took the lead, others would respond. He hadn't expected this result. Although he was a little surprised and dissatisfied, he didn't show it. He still said with a smile, "There is no need to rush. Everyone should think about it. Let's go to the banquet first. It won't be too late to tell me when you have made up your mind." It had to be said that Wang Deshang's way of handling things was much better than Wang Daji's. His light words not only left room for maneuver, but also eased the current embarrassment. After saying that, he took the lead and walked out of the room. The old Chinese medicine doctors followed behind him and went to the banquet hall together. When Gao Fengwen and the others arrived at the banquet, they immediately became a strange sight. Generally, the men who attended the banquet were dressed in suits and leather shoes, and the women were dressed in extremely revealing evening gowns. But these old men, except for Zhang Tianhe who was wearing a suit, the others were all dressed in long robes, which looked particularly unusual. Similarly, these old men were not used to seeing the white skin of the ladies, so their eyes were limited to their feet and did not see Qin Haodong sitting in the corner. Wang Desheng had already made arrangements beforehand. He asked the waiter to guide these old doctors of Chinese medicine to sit in the front row, and then the banquet officially began. Wang Haiding, the president of the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce, was the first to walk to the front stage. He nodded to the crowd and said, "Welcome to my reception. Thank you for giving me face." After a burst of applause, he continued, "I have only one purpose for holding today's banquet, and that is to hand over my position. To be honest, I'm getting old these years and I'm not able to control the Haitian group. Fortunately, my eldest son, Desheng, returned to Wuxia from M country a few days ago, so I can finally rest. From now on, Wang Desheng officially serves as the president of the Haitian group. At the same time, he will replace me as the host of today's banquet. Now let my son come up to meet you." The crowd was quite surprised. They had thought that this was just an ordinary business banquet. They had not expected that Wang Haiding would hand over the position of president. Wang Desheng stepped to the front stage with a charming smile on his face. As soon as he appeared, there was a warm applause and many women screamed, "He's so handsome. Master Wang is so handsome. I wonder if he has a girlfriend. Not bad. It seems that Wang Haiding has a good son, a talented man." There was a burst of praise from the audience. Both men and women were impressed by Wang Desheng's demeanor. Only Lin Momo's face slowly darkened. She had been looking for Che Xiaoxiao for a long time, but she had not seen her good sister at the banquet. She probably did not know that Wang Desheng had returned to Wuxia. Che Xiaoxiao had waited for him for 5 years, but he had not even said hello after returning to Wuxia. What did he mean? On the stage, Wang Haiding looked at his son, his eyes full of pride. He put one hand on Wang Desheng's shoulder and said to the audience, "The proudest thing in my life is not the founding of the Haitian group, but having a good son. Desheng has been very outstanding since he was a child. This time he has made great achievements in M country and obtained a double bachelor's degree. From today on I will take over the Haitian group. I hope you can take care of me. Well, I won't say more. From now on this stage belongs to young people, to my son." After that, he cupped his hands to the audience, handed the microphone to Wang Desheng, and directly retreated. Wang Desheng stood in Wang Haiding's position and showed a charming smile to the audience. "Hello friends, elders, I'm Wang Desheng. From today on, I will take over my father's position as president. I hope you can help me." The audience applauded and everyone expressed their goodwill to the young president. Wang Desheng's eyes swept the audience. When he saw Lin Momo, his eyes lit up. After the applause faded, he said, "Everyone, I want to take the opportunity of today's banquet to announce 3 things. First, after I become president, Haitian Group's business focus will be on the pharmaceutical industry." As soon as he finished speaking, there was a cry of surprise from the audience. Haitian Group had been mainly engaged in the real estate and financial industry before. It had never been involved in the pharmaceutical industry. How could it suddenly change its focus? This left many people scratching their heads. Wang Desheng smiled and said, "You may be surprised by my decision. Some people even think I'm crazy. In fact, my decision is completely the result of careful consideration. Now the real estate industry has reached its peak, and the financial industry is also in a saturated state with great risks. Only the medical industry is in the ascendant. With the improvement of people's living standards, people's demand for medicine and health is growing. Therefore, I think the pharmaceutical industry has great potential, especially the traditional Chinese medicine industry. The first thing I will do as president is to establish the Wuxia Hall of Medical Fame and make the traditional Chinese medicine industry stronger and bigger. Now I'm ready. Today, I specially invited many seniors of the traditional Chinese medicine industry in Jiangnan to today's banquet." Wang Desheng's speech shocked people more and more. It was already beyond many people's expectations that he would enter the pharmaceutical industry. They didn't expect that he would enter the traditional Chinese medicine industry. Everyone knew the situation of traditional Chinese medicine in Wuxia. Wang Desheng wanted to make traditional Chinese medicine stronger and bigger. Could this work? Many people were skeptical of his decision. As if he knew what everyone was thinking, Wang Desheng said, "The traditional Chinese medicine industry has a broad prospect. It's definitely a big gold mine, but it hasn't been paid attention to and fully developed yet. Don't doubt this. Some time ago, my old classmate and my goddess, President Lin Momo, set a good example for us. She took the lead in establishing Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Company and did a very successful job. I've already heard the reputation of the blood revival elixir in M country. I want to learn from my goddess on this point. As he spoke, he raised his hand and pointed to Lin Momo. Everyone's eyes followed him and focused on Lin Momo. In the eyes of others, Lin Momo should have responded to Wang Deshang's kindness. However, because of Che Xiaoxiao, Lin Momo did not have any good impression of Wang Deshang. Not only did she not respond, but she turned her face to Qin Haodong and did not even look at him. Wang Deshang had originally wanted to say hello to Lin Momo in this special way, but he hadn't expected this result, which made him feel a little embarrassed. Fortunately, he was really shrewd. The embarrassment only flashed in a flash. Soon he said with a smile, "Now let's talk about the second thing, which is also a great thing for Haitian Group. When I was in M country, I met Mr. Maldini Jr. of Midas Investment Company. I explained to him that I was going to vigorously develop traditional Chinese medicine. He was also very optimistic about traditional Chinese medicine and agreed with me very much. He even had the intention to invest." At this point there was an uproar. Everyone was shocked by Wang Deshang's words, not for anything else, but for the reputation of Midas Investment Company, and Maldini Jr. Midas was definitely the world's top investment company. Its head, Maldini Jr. was known as the most insightful investor today. Since his debut he had never failed. Moreover, behind Maldini Jr. stood a financial giant, old Maldini. In terms of the depth of funds, few people in the world could surpass this father and son. When Wang Deshang said that he was optimistic about the traditional Chinese medicine industry, many people didn't take it seriously. However, if Maldini Jr. was also optimistic about this industry, it would be completely different. It was definitely worth re-examining, because they all believed that Maldini Jr.'s vision could not be wrong. Moreover, if he could get the investment of Midas, it would be more than half a success. All that was left was the process of moving towards success. Many successful people present were looking forward to cooperating with Midas and getting Maldini Jr.'s investment. It was a pity that no one in Jiangnan City had done this in recent years. If Wang Deshang could succeed, he would definitely be the first. Looking at everyone's performance, Wang Deshang's eyes flashed with pride. Being recognized and appreciated by Maldini Jr. was the proudest thing in his life. After everyone calmed down a little, he continued, "Now, I'm going to talk about the third thing today, which I think is the most important thing." Hearing this, everyone's curiosity was aroused again. The news just now was already shocking enough. Was there anything more important than Maldini Jr.'s investment? Everyone's eyes focused on Wang Deshang again, waiting for him to continue. Wang Deshang said, "I've been wandering overseas for 5 years, and I've never had a girlfriend during those 5 years. It's not that I'm not good enough. Over the years, girls from all over the world have confessed to me, but I haven't accepted them, because I've always had someone in my heart. This time I can't wait anymore when I return to Wuxia. Today I'm going to confess to the person I love the most. I hope she can accept my love." Chapter 3:14. No one had expected that the third thing Wang Deshang wanted to say was to confess his feelings. There was a sudden sensation under the stage. It's a miracle that Master Wang hasn't had a girlfriend for so many years. Who is the woman he loves? Oh my God, the woman Brother Deshang is talking about must be me. I'm so happy. It turns out that he has always loved me. Don't be so shameless. You didn't even graduate from primary school 5 years ago. He didn't even know you, okay? There was a lot of discussion under the stage. The infatuated girls all hoped that it was them, and the men were full of curiosity. They didn't know which woman could make the young master of the Wang family fall in love with so much. Lin Momo was surprised and happy for her best friend. She had not waited for Wang Deshang for 5 years in vain. This time Wang Deshang was finally going to confess his love. She craned her neck and looked around, trying to find Che Xiaoxiao. Qin Haodong said, "Don't look for her." Che Xiaoxiao didn't come at all. That's impossible. He is going to confess his love. How could Xiaoxiao not come? The person he is going to confess his love to is not Che Xiaoxiao, but you. Lin Momo said with a shocked face. What? Me? That's impossible. Are you kidding me? It's Xiaoxiao who likes him, not me. At this time, someone under the stage shouted impatiently, "Master Wang, who is the girl you like? Is he here today? Can you show him to everyone?" "Yes, which girl is so lucky? Let us know her quickly." There was a charming smile on Wang Deshang's face. He pointed to Lin Momo and said, "She is my goddess, Miss Lin Momo." The audience was in an uproar. Everyone followed his gaze and once again saw Lin Momo's perfect and peerless face. When they saw that the person Wang Deshang liked was Lin Momo, those infatuated girls were discouraged. Although they all boasted that they were extraordinary, they were far inferior to Lin Momo, whether in terms of family background, appearance or ability. Lin's group belonged to a large consortium in Jiangnan City, which was comparable to Haitian Group in strength. Lin Momo was already the president of two large groups in her 20s, which was incomparable to those young ladies who only knew how to do beauty and go shopping. However, some people expressed their disdain. No matter how beautiful and excellent Lin Momo was, she was already the mother of a child. She was not worthy of Wang Deshang. No matter what others thought, Lin Momo was completely shocked. She couldn't understand what Wang Deshang was doing. The astonishment on his face did not fade for a long time. Wang Deshang stepped down from the stage and walked toward Lin Momo. With an extremely affectionate expression, he said, "Momo, please forgive me for my hasty confession. In fact, I came back from M country for two purposes. One is to make Haitian Group stronger and bigger, and the other is to be with you." After saying that, he waved his hand, and the waiter next to him immediately came over with a tray. The tray was covered with a red cloth so no one knew what was on it. Under everyone's gaze, Wang Deshang uncovered the red cloth on the tray, and there was a rose underneath. Wang Deshang picked up the rose and gave it to Lin Momo. He said in a deep voice, "Momo, this is the rose I carefully prepared for you. Do you like it?" At this time, everyone found that this rose was different. The golden petals were made of pure gold, and the green branches and leaves below were of extremely high-quality jade. The most eye-catching thing was that the petals of the rose were inlaid with 99 diamonds the size of rice grains. "Oh my God, this is a diamond rose. How much are so many diamonds worth?" The people under the stage, both men and women, were shocked by the value of this rose. The women looked at Lin Momo with envy and hatred. If only this rose had been given to them. What do you know? The key is his feelings. From this rose, it can be seen how deep young Master Wang's feelings for Miss Lin are. Do you think Miss Lin will agree? That goes without saying. No woman can resist such a unique rose. In many people's eyes, Lin Momo's heart would eventually be captured by Wang Deshang. Some busybodies had already clapped their hands and shouted, "Together! Together!" Unexpectedly, a shocking scene appeared. Lin Momo, who had recovered from the shock, did not take the rose. Instead, she slapped Wang Deshang in the face. This time, everyone was dumbfounded. Those who were just shouting together opened their mouths wide, but not a single sound came out. No one understood why the plot was like this. In general, when this happened in a TV series, the heroine should be moved to tears, and then suddenly throw herself into the hero's arms, and start a good life from then on. Why did Miss Lin hit him so fiercely? After slapping Wang Deshang, Lin Momo was still angry. She pointed at Wang Deshang's nose and said angrily, "Wang Deshang, what are you doing? Do you feel sorry for Xiao Xiao? Do you know how much she has done for you? Do you know that she has been waiting for you for the past 5 years?" She was really angry. Che Xiaoxiao had done so much for Wang Deshang and the Wang family. She had not expected that Wang Deshang would abandon Che Xiaoxiao publicly and turn around to pursue her. She could not accept this in any way. There were 5 bright red fingerprints on Wang Deshang's handsome cheek, but he did not seem angry. He handed the rose in his hand to the waiter next to him, touched his red and swollen cheek, and then said with a wry smile, "Momo, I know I'm sorry for Xiao Xiao, but love can't be forced. I have always liked you since I was in college, but I didn't see my feelings clearly. During the 5 years in M country, I finally saw through my heart and knew who I liked. There is only friendship between me and Xiao Xiao, not love. The only person I love is you. Give me a chance. I really love you. I love you deeply. I will make it up to Xiao Xiao." Wang Deshang's confession was extremely touching. If it had been an ordinary girl, she might have been moved. However, Lin Momo's heart had long been filled with Qin Haodong. She did not care what Wang Deshang said at all. She only cared about Che Xiaoxiao's feelings. She said angrily, "Make it up to her? Xiao Xiao has been waiting for you for 5 years. As a girl, she has given you the best time of her life. What will you do to make it up to her? I tell you, Wang Deshang, apologize to Xiao Xiao and confess your love to her, or I will not spare you." Wang Deshang did not seem to be reconciled. He continued, "Momo, I will make it clear to Xiao Xiao, but the person I love is really you. Momo, let me do it." Seeing that Lin Momo was about to lose her temper again, Qin Haodong reached out and pulled her behind him. He said to Wang Deshang, "Master Wang, you are pursuing my girlfriend in such a high-profile way. Have you ever thought about my feelings? After saying this, many people noticed Qin Haodong's existence. Although he had been with Lin Momo before, in some people's eyes he was just a bodyguard or a follower. No one had thought that this plainly dressed young man would be Lin Momo's boyfriend. Wang Deshang said, "I don't care who you are. You can't stop me from pursuing Momo. As long as Momo is not married, I have the right to pursue her. Besides, you are just Momo's boyfriend. You are today but not necessarily tomorrow. Maybe I will be the one accompanying Momo." The guests of the banquet watched the scene in front of them with great interest. They had not expected that the scene of fighting for a girlfriend, which they often saw in movies and TV plays, would be staged in front of them. However, no one was optimistic about Qin Haodong. Although this young man was not inferior to Wang Deshang in appearance, he was just an ordinary person. How could he compare with the heir of Haitian group? They believed that after Lin Momo's impulse, she would eventually choose Wang Deshang. As if to confirm this idea, Lin Momo said to Wang Deshang, "You're wrong. Haodong is not my boyfriend." Hearing this, many people's faces showed a look of relief. The plot had changed so fast that Lin Momo had changed her mind in just a few minutes. However, in everyone's opinion, Wang Deshang was also her best choice. Wang Deshang also smiled. For so many years, no woman had been able to escape from his palm, and Lin Momo was no exception. However, at this moment, Lin Momo said solemnly, "Qin Haodong is not my boyfriend. He is my man, the only man in my life." Her words were sonorous and powerful. This was a declaration of love, which blocked all of Wang Deshang's hopes. However, it also meant that she and Lin's group were completely standing on the opposite side of the Wang family. Sure enough, Wang Haiding was unhappy. It was not suitable for him to participate in his son's confession of love to Lin Momo. He had been watching quietly, but now he had to stand up and speak. "Momo, as an elder, I advise you. As the saying goes, men are afraid of choosing the wrong career, and women are afraid of marrying the wrong man. Finding a man is the most important thing in a woman's life. Don't be emotional or it will be too late to regret later." The first half of his words seemed to be exhortation, but the second half had become a naked threat. Lin Momo's face darkened and she said coldly, "Uncle Wang, choosing a man is my own business. I will only choose one man in my life, and I will never regret it." Seeing that Lin Momo was not threatened by him at all, Wang Haiding immediately changed his tone and said, "Momo, we have always paid attention to the marriage between two families. Even if you don't choose Deshang, you have to find a man who matches you. How can this gigolo be worthy of you? You are the president and he is just a little doctor. You are the only heir of Lin's group and he is just a poor boy. How can he compare with our Deshang?" Lin Momo stepped forward, held Qin Haodong's hand and said, "The best choice I've made in my life is to choose Haodong. He's the best man in the world. If we're not a good match, it's me who doesn't deserve him." Everyone was shocked. In their opinion, Qin Haodong was just a toy boy who lived off a woman. They had not expected Lin Momo to speak so highly of him. Lin Momo continued to say, "Although Haodong is not a rich second generation, he is a pioneer. Although he is only a Chinese medicine practitioner, he has developed the blood revival elixir that can completely cure leukemia. Because of this, he can immediately enter the list of billionaires if he wants to. All of this depends on his personal efforts. He doesn't rely on his family or his parents. This kind of man is the best man I admire the most. He is not someone who inherits the family business and goes abroad to get gold." Lin Momo could not stand the Wang family's contempt for Qin Haodong. They directly compared him with Wang Deshang, which was a slap in the face. One relied on his family while the other relied on himself. One was a rich second generation while the other was a pioneer. It was clear who was superior. Chapter 315. Wang Haiding's face was livid. He hadn't expected that Lin Momo wouldn't show any respect to the Wang family. In contrast, Wang Deshang was much calmer. He said, "Momo, I know he developed the blood revival elixir, but maybe he just happened to encounter a prescription that could cure leukemia. It's just luck. It doesn't prove that he's better than me. Although I was born in the Wang family and I'm a rich second generation in other people's eyes, I worked hard in M country on my own. For example, I won Maldini Jr.'s favor this time and made him consider investing in Wuxia. It's all because of my personal charm. It has nothing to do with my family." His speech was methodical and skillful. First, he silently denied Qin Haodong's achievements, and then he showed the greatest achievement of his life. How could an ordinary person win Maldini Jr.'s favor? After he said that, there was a warm applause on the scene. Many direct descendants of the Wang family cheered. It was definitely a proud thing to be able to establish a relationship with Maldini Jr. Wang Deshang smiled proudly. He believed that his achievement would make Lin Momo look up to him. However, Lin Momo didn't even look at him. She said lightly, "Don't think that only your success depends on your ability. Others' success depends on luck." Haodong developed the blood revival elixir because of his superb medical skills. Is your title of medical sage undeserved? Really? Wang Deshang said disdainfully, I think a person who dares to call himself medical sage at such a young age is absolutely arrogant. I'm afraid he's undeserved. As soon as he finished speaking, someone said angrily, the title of medical sage is earned by his medical skills. I, Gao Fengwen, will be the first to disagree with anyone who dares to say that medical sage is undeserved. As he spoke, Gao Fengwen walked into the crowd with the people of the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. He had admired Qin Haodong's medical skills and character. Now that someone dared to question Qin Haodong, he immediately stood up to refute. Mr. Wang, from what you just said, I found that you don't understand and respect Chinese medicine at all. I, Gao Fengwen, can give you an answer now. I refuse to join the so-called Hall of Medical Fame. And me, I, Xin Xiangfu, also refuse to join the Hall of Medical Fame. I, Zhong Sihai, refuse to join the Hall of Medical Fame. For a time there was a lot of shouting. The people of the Jiangnan Chinese Medicine Association expressed their positions and unanimously refused the invitation to join the Wuxia Hall of Medical Fame. Although Wang Deshang looked calm, he was very shocked. He didn't expect Qin Haodong to have such a great appeal in the traditional Chinese medicine circle. His simple words could cause such a great response. Seeing that the Wang family's face had been trampled on one after another, Wang Daji could no longer control his temper and shouted, You bad old men, who gave you the courage to shout in our Wang family? Without you we can still set up the Hall of Medical Fame. Get out of here now. Guards, get them out of the clubhouse. Hearing his shout, more than a dozen security guards immediately rushed over to drive Gao Fengwen and the others out of the club. Wang Deshang could only sigh secretly when he saw his idiot younger brother driving him away. Without Gao Fengwen and other well-known traditional Chinese medicine doctors, could the Hall of Medical Fame still be called the Hall of Medical Fame? At the very least, its quality was much dimmer. However, there was no turning back now. For the sake of the Wang family's face, he could only let Wang Daji do what he wanted. Lin Momo glared at the father and son of the Wang family, took Qin Haodong's hand and said, Since this is the Wang family's world, let's go. The Wang family's face was lost again and again. Wang Haiding could no longer control his anger and shouted angrily, Lin Momo, think about it. You are a member of the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce. If you dare to step out of the club, I will remove Lin's group from the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce. Lin Momo stopped, looked back at him and said, Wang Haiding, are you threatening me? So what if I am threatening you? Wang Haiding said without showing weakness. Well, you don't have to be removed. I officially announced that Lin's group will withdraw from the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce. As long as the Wang family exists, it will not come back. Looking at Lin Momo's determined expression, Wang Deshang could only sigh again. Originally there was still some room for negotiation, but now it was completely deadlocked because of his father and brother. Wang Haiding shouted, Lin Momo, this is what you said. If I leave the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce, Lin's group will no longer enjoy all the resources of the Chamber of Commerce. You can't ask me to come back then. Lin Momo sneered and said, Do people like you have the resources of the Chamber of Commerce? I don't care. Qin Haodong stood next to her. He didn't care about the low-level flirting like the father and son of the Wang family at all. However, Lin Momo's reaction moved him deeply. As the president of the group, it was impossible for her not to care about the resources of the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce. However, she had made a prompt decision to leave the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce, which showed how important he was in her heart. Lin Momo's reaction was also beyond many people's expectations, but Wang Daji was very happy to see it. In the past he had been defeated by Qin Haodong, and now he finally had a chance to take revenge. Come on, throw these ignorant people out of the club. He knew Qin Haodong's temper very well. As long as the security guards drove them out, they would definitely fight. Although Qin Haodong was good at fighting, the security guards of the Jiangnan Club were elites hired by the Wang family with a high salary. There were nearly 100 of them. No matter how good this toy boy was, he could only beat 10 or 20 people, but could he beat 100 people? That was impossible. He had the idea of fishing in troubled waters. As long as Qin Haodong resisted a little, he would immediately let the security guards kill him. Anyway, if anything happened, the Wang family would be the behemoth. After the security guards received the order, Dozens of people immediately surrounded Qin Haodong and the old Chinese medicine practitioners. Seeing all this, Wang Haiding did not say anything to stop them. He stood aside and watched coldly. He wanted to let others see that no matter who offended the Wang family, they had to pay the price. Otherwise, how could he establish his prestige as the president of the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce in the future? Qin Haodong sneered. The father and son of the Wang family were really taking advantage of him. If he didn't get angry, did they think he was a sick cat? Just as he was about to explode, suddenly another security guard ran over and whispered something in the ears of Wang Haiding and Wang Deshang. Wang Haiding's expression changed and he said with a happy face, "Stop it. The distinguished guest will be here soon. Come with me to welcome him." Then he seemed to be unable to control his inner excitement. He said to the guests next to him, "I have good news. Mr. Maldini Jr., the president of Midas Investment Company, has arrived at the Jiangnan Club. Now I'm going to welcome him. I hope you can join me and let Mr. Maldini Jr. feel the friendliness and enthusiasm of the Celestial Empire." Hearing this news, everyone was excited. Wang Deshang had mentioned Maldini Jr. several times tonight. Some people even thought he was using Maldini Jr. to make himself look good. Who knew that Maldini Jr. did have such connections? Now the financial tycoon who could catch a cold with a sneeze had come in person. Now it seemed that Wang Deshang hadn't lied. Maldini Jr. did intend to invest in Haitian Group. Otherwise he wouldn't have come all the way to the Celestial Empire. This made people think more highly of the young master of the Wang family. Although he was a rich second generation, he had won Maldini Jr.'s appreciation with his real ability. Otherwise, the assets of Haitian Group were nothing in Maldini Jr.'s eyes. The happiest person was Wang Deshang. He had invited Maldini Jr. first tonight, but Maldini had refused. Although his agent had said later that Maldini Jr. might come to the Jiangnan Club, he hadn't dared to announce the news because of the uncertainty. Now that Maldini Jr. had come in person, it meant that Wang Deshang had reached the peak of his life. Everyone rushed to the door, but as soon as they arrived at the door of the hall, a group of tall bodyguards came in from outside. These bodyguards were all tall, with an average height of more than 1.9 meters. There were black people and white people. They looked murderous and extraordinary. After entering the door, the bodyguards divided into two teams and made way for a white man in a suit and leather shoes to walk into the hall. This man was about 1.85 meters tall and looked like a typical European gentleman. There was a vague shadow of old Maldini in his eyes. Needless to say, this was Maldini Jr. It was the first time for the people present to see the legendary god of fortune. They were all very excited and wanted to leave a good impression in front of Maldini Jr. If the Midas Gold's company invested some money in them, they would soar to the sky and become rich. As the owner of the club and the president of the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce, Wang Haiding was naturally the first in line. He walked in front of everyone with a smile on his face. He came to Maldini Jr. and bowed deeply. "Dear Mr. Maldini, welcome to the Celestial Empire. I'm Wang Haiding from Haitian Group." Before he could finish, he found that Maldini Jr. did not stop walking. Maldini Jr. ignored him, who was still bowing, and walked straight into the hall. He looked around as he walked as if he was looking for someone. Wang Haiding stood up awkwardly, but then he felt relieved. Maldini Jr. was a world-famous financial magnate, so it was normal for him to ignore him. It seemed that Maldini Jr. only appreciated his son Wang Deshang. He was here for his son. However, they were all members of the Wang family. As long as Maldini Jr. nodded, the Wang family would be greatly promoted and stand on the top of the entire Jiangnan province and even the Celestial Empire. Everyone else thought so, including Wang Deshang. Seeing Maldini Jr. looking around for him, Wang Deshang felt very proud. He straightened his collar, straightened his back, and stepped forward to greet Maldini Jr. "Dear Mr. Maldini Jr., welcome to the Celestial Empire." Wang Deshang bowed deeply to Maldini Jr. as he spoke. Then a surprising scene appeared. Young Mancini didn't stop and kept walking inside, not even glancing at Wang Deshang. What was going on? Everyone present was stunned, including the father and son of the Wang family. It was understandable that Maldini Jr. ignored Wang Haiding, but why did he ignore Wang Deshang? Did he know someone else in the Jiangnan Club? Wang Deshang stood up with a puzzled expression. He did not understand what Maldini Jr. was going to do. "Isn't he here for me? Doesn't he appreciate my talent? Didn't he see me just now?" When he was about to catch up with him, he saw Maldini Jr.'s eyes suddenly light up. His face was full of joy as he quickly walked into the hall. The bodyguards on both sides followed him closely. After pushing away the security guards surrounding Qin Haodong and the others, Maldini Jr. went straight to Qin Haodong, bowed deeply and said respectfully, "Dear medical sage, I finally meet you." Chapter 316. After seeing this, the people who had been following Maldini Jr. were instantly frozen. They all stood there in a daze, unable to believe what they were seeing. Maldini Jr. was bowing to a young Wuxia man. What was going on? Ah! A scream suddenly rang out in the hall. It turned out that in order to verify whether she was dreaming or not, a woman put her male companion's finger in her mouth and bit it hard. When she heard her male companion's heart-wrenching scream, she confirmed that everything was real. After recognizing the facts in front of them, the way people looked at the Wang father and son changed again. Just now the father and son had chased after Maldini Jr. and bowed, but Maldini Jr. had ignored them. Instead he had turned around and bowed to Qin Haodong. They were all from Wuxia, but why was there such a big gap between them? What was this? This was a slap in the face. Moreover, hadn't Wang Deshang said that Maldini Jr. appreciated him very much? Hadn't he said that he had come to Wuxia to invest in him? Why hadn't he looked at him at all? What was going on? For a moment, many people questioned what Wang Deshang had just said. Judging from Maldini Jr.'s current behavior, it didn't look like he was going to invest in him at all. Qin Haodong nodded to Maldini Jr. and said, "Mr. Maldini Jr., welcome to Wuxia. Dear medical sage, you are my idol. The blood revival elixir you developed is really amazing, beyond my imagination. How about I invest in your Tangmen traditional Chinese medicine company? I can invest 10 billion yuan, no 20 billion yuan to help your company build factories in Europe and the United States and sell products all over the world. You only need to give me 20% of the shares." After Maldini Jr. finished speaking, people who had just closed their mouths opened again in surprise. An investment of 20 billion yuan in exchange for 20% of the shares meant that the market value of Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Company was at least 100 billion yuan. What kind of concept was that? Wang Haiding was known as one of the top 10 richest men in the south of the Yangtze River, but his assets were no more than 10 billion yuan. All the assets of the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce added up were just over 100 billion yuan. No wonder Lin Momo was so confident and didn't need the resources of the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce. At this time the way they looked at Qin Haodong had completely changed. Just now they thought that he was just a gigolo, but now they knew that although he had the capital to rely on his face, he had to rely on his ability to make a living. He was a real billionaire. In contrast, Wang Deshang's halo quickly dimmed. In the eyes of those rich ladies, he was not so outstanding. Seeing that the god of fortune he had invited was going to invest in Qin Haodong, Wang Deshang couldn't stay calm. He hurried forward and said respectfully, "Mr. Maldini Jr., didn't you say that you would invest in our Haitian group? Just now, I established the Wuxia Hall of Medical Fame and invited many famous doctors in Jiangnan City to join us. I won't let you down." Maldini Jr. stood up straight, looked back at Wang Deshang and said, "The reason why I'm a little interested in the traditional Chinese medicine industry you mentioned is because of medical sage. The blood revival elixir developed by him is so excellent that I saw the magic of traditional Chinese medicine. That's why I want to inspect your company. I can directly invest in Medical Sage's company, but your project needs to be inspected. I'll do it after careful inspection. Right now it's just an investment intention." People suddenly realized that Maldini Jr. had agreed to come to Wuxia and inspect Haitian Group's project not because he appreciated Wang Deshang, but because of Qin Haodong. Well, Wang Deshang was so embarrassed that he wanted to find a hole to hide in. He had always thought that Maldini Jr. appreciated his talent, but he didn't know that it was because of his rival in love. He had always been proud and arrogant. It was the first time in his life that someone had made him feel so dim. Wang Daji had been following him. He was a playboy who only knew how to eat, drink and have fun. He had never heard of the Midas Investment Company before, nor did he know how high Maldini Jr.'s status was in the financial world. He only knew that Qin Haodong had made the Wang family suffer and lose face. At this time, new hatred and old hatred were added together. He shouted at the security guards next to him, "What are you idiots doing? I told you to drive this toy boy out a long time ago. What are you waiting for?" His idea was simple. He just needed to drive Qin Haodong out, but he didn't expect that things would be completely different now. Maldini Jr. had repeatedly shown his kindness to Qin Haodong, but he wanted to drive him out. It was obvious that he didn't want to give Maldini Jr. face. Sure enough, Maldini Jr.'s face suddenly became cold. He waved to the bodyguards around him and said, "Protect Mr. Medical Sage." The bodyguards of the Jiangnan Club had just been scolded, so they immediately rushed up to fight. However, they were no match for Maldini Jr.'s bodyguards. The tall and strong special forces quickly put down more than a dozen bodyguards. Wang Deshang came to his senses and quickly stopped the bodyguards of the Wang family. Maldini Jr. said angrily, "Wang Deshang, what are you doing?" Wang Deshang quickly explained, "I'm sorry, Mr. Maldini Jr., you misunderstood. My brother didn't do this to you. You know what? Mr. Medical Sage is my idol and the best friend of our Maldini family. How dare you do this to him? This is a challenge to our family." He pointed at Wang Deshang's nose and spoke angrily. His saliva sprayed on Wang Deshang's face, but Wang Deshang could only endure it. He didn't dare to show any dissatisfaction, because Maldini Jr. was someone the Wang family couldn't afford to provoke. Wang Daji was about to say something, but he was immediately stopped by Wang Hating. He knew the consequences of angering Maldini Jr. Qin Haodong said, "Mr. Maldini Jr., since we're not welcome here, let's leave." Maldini Jr. said, "Mr. Medical Sage, can you tell me what happened here?" Qin Haodong glanced at Wang Deshang and Wang Hating. Their hearts immediately trembled and they had a bad feeling. They didn't expect Qin Haodong to have such a high status in Maldini Jr. They were afraid that the Wang family would be in trouble again. "Just now the young master of the Wang family pursued my girlfriend in public, but was rejected. He wanted to drive us out and announced that my girlfriend would be removed from the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce." In a few simple words, he clearly described what the father and son of the Wang family had just done. Although Wang Deshang wasn't a threat in his eyes, he didn't mind making trouble for his rival in love. What a B****. Maldini Jr.'s Wuxia language was really limited, so he could only express his anger with these two words. He turned to look at Wang Deshang and said, "You disappoint me. How could you treat a friend of the Maldini family so rudely? I now announce that I will completely cancel my investment intention in Haitian Group." Wang Deshang hadn't expected such a result. It wasn't easy to get a chance to cooperate with Maldini Jr., but it was ruined just like that. The reason was that he had provoked Qin Haodong. Wang Hating hurried forward and said, "Mr. Maldini Jr., there's a misunderstanding. I hope you can give our Wang family and Haitian Group another chance. I'm now the president of the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce. If you cooperate with Haitian Group, you'll get a lot of help from the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce." "The Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce?" Maldini Jr. sneered. "A small chamber of commerce of the south of the Yangtze River is nothing in our eyes. I now officially announce that the Chamber of Commerce of the south of the Yangtze River is hostile to our company. Any member of the Chamber of Commerce of the south of the Yangtze River will not get the chance to cooperate with us." Wang Hating broke out in a cold sweat. He had originally wanted to increase his family's bargaining chips through the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce, but he didn't expect that he would make Maldini Jr. hate him instead. The other members of the Chamber of Commerce had been watching from the sidelines. No matter who won the battle between the Wang family and Qin Haodong, it had nothing to do with them. However, they did not expect that Wang Hating's words would drag them into the ditch. Some of them had wanted to find a chance to get close to Maldini Jr. and strive for as many opportunities as possible to cooperate with him. Now that this idea was completely shattered, they couldn't help but transfer their anger to Wang Hating. At the same time, it also made people very curious. They didn't know what ability Qin Haodong had to make the arrogant Maldini Jr. respect him so much. The Wangs were completely dumbfounded. They didn't come to their senses until Qin Haodong, Maldini Jr. and the others left the Jiangnan Club. They had thought that they were just casually humiliating Qin Haodong, the little doctor. They had never dreamed that they would provoke Maldini Jr. Wang Hating found that the members of the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce, who had been surrounding him, no longer looked at him with respect. They even looked at him with hatred. They also left the Jiangnan Club. Wang Deshang looked depressed. Wang Daji still hadn't figured out what had happened. He said bitterly, "Father, do you want me to find some people to teach this foreign devil a lesson? You can't do anything right, but you're good at spoiling things." Wang Hating slapped him to the ground and scolded, "Do you know who he is? How dare he do something to Maldini Jr. If you provoke him today, our family will go bankrupt tomorrow. The day after that we will have to go begging. From now on you'll stay at home. Not only can you not provoke Maldini Jr., but you're also not allowed to provoke Qin Haodong." Wang Daji covered his mouth. Only then did he realize what a big mess he had just made. After leaving the Jiangnan Club, Qin Haodong said goodbye to Gao Fengwen and the others. Then he followed Maldini Jr. to the Hilton Hotel where he was staying. It was a 5-star hotel. Maldini Jr.'s assistant Alice had already arranged a room here in advance. When they arrived at Maldini Jr.'s presidential suite, Alice warmly invited Qin Haodong and Lin Momo to sit down. Then she served them 2 cups of freshly made coffee and helped Maldini Jr. take off his suit. Qin Haodong took a sip of coffee and then looked at Alice up and down. This woman was extremely beautiful and had an unusually hot figure. Her curves were protruding, and the places that were supposed to be curvy were protruding. It was obvious that she had a lot of affection for Maldini Jr. It was a pity that Maldini Jr. didn't respond to her enthusiasm. After chatting for a while, Maldini Jr. said to Lin Momo, "Dear Miss Lin, can I have a word with Mr. Qin alone?" "Of course." Lin Momo stood up and walked into another room under Alice's guidance. There were only 2 people left in the room. Qin Haodong smiled and said, "Mr. Maldini Jr., you can say what you want to say now." Chapter 317. Maldini Jr. took a sip of his coffee and licked his lips. The world-famous financial magnate, the little god of wealth admired by thousands of people, seemed a little nervous at the moment. After a pause he said, "Mr. Medical Sage, what do you think about the investment cooperation?" "I can think about it. When I'm ready to enter the European and American markets, we can talk about the cooperation in detail." Qin Haodong looked at him playfully and said, "Mr. Maldini Jr., you don't just want to talk to me about this, do you?" He could tell that the foreigner had something that he couldn't say, and it seemed to be related to his illness. Maldini Jr. was nervous and a little embarrassed. He said, "Mr. Medical Sage, I want to tell you about my illness, which is also the main purpose of my trip to Wuxia." He had been suffering from a hidden disease for years, but he had not been treated well. Some time ago, Qin Haodong cured old Maldini's brain tumor with acupuncture. When he went back, he persuaded his son to come to Wuxia for treatment. At that time, Maldini Jr. did not believe in traditional Chinese medicine and thought it was impossible. It was not until a few days ago that the blood revival elixir was officially on the market. Maldini Jr. sent someone to learn more about the situation and confirmed that Qin Haodong had developed a medicine that could completely cure leukemia. Then he believed in traditional Chinese medicine and his medical skills and immediately set off for Wuxia to seek treatment. "What's wrong with you?" Qin Haodong asked. "I heard that traditional Chinese medicine has a magical way to know the disease by touching the wrist. I don't know if it's true." Maldini Jr. did not directly answer Qin Haodong's question. "Of course it's true. Traditional Chinese medicine pays attention to look, listen, question and feel the pulse. Can you feel my pulse?" "Of course." Qin Haodong reached out and put his hand on his pulse. In fact, he had already seen through Maldini Jr.'s condition. He just wanted to make a joke with him. After feeling the pulse, he was more sure of his opinion. The reason why Maldini Jr. was embarrassed to talk about it was that he suffered from a serious male disease. In the Wuxia proverb, it was called natural impotence. Since he was born, he had not played any other role except to pee. No wonder Lin Momo said that he was not married and had not had any scandals over the years. How could there be scandals under such circumstances? With his status, he must have pursued a lot of women over the years. However, the more women he pursued, the heavier his psychological burden would be. Not to mention flirting with the female assistant, Alice, Maldini Jr. wouldn't even look at her if she took off her clothes. After understanding the situation, Qin Haodong withdrew his hand. Maldini Jr. became more nervous and asked, "Medical Sage, how is my illness?" As Qin Haodong walked, a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. He believed that Maldini Jr. would finally be able to hold his head high tonight. He could even hear Alice's scream. After getting in the car, Lin Momo asked, "Haodong, what's going on? Why is Maldini Jr. being so secretive? Does he have something important to tell you?" Qin Haodong told her about the process of the treatment and said, "Now you know why he has no girlfriend and no scandal, right?" This news still surprised Lin Momo. She didn't expect that a billionaire would have such an unspeakable secret. Qin Haodong said with a smile, "In fact, sometimes happiness is around you. What you think is very ordinary is what others desperately want, so we should go back and cherish our happy life." After that, he reached out and patted Lin Momo's thigh, giving her a meaningful look. "You're so annoying." Lin Momo certainly knew what Qin Haodong was thinking, and a touch of red floated over her face. Then she thought of something. She sighed again and said angrily, "Poor Xiao Xiao. She waited for that bastard for 5 years, but she didn't expect him to be an ungrateful wolf. Xiao Xiao is indeed a bit pitiful, but we are all adults. We choose our own path, so we can't blame others. That bastard Wang Deshang is to blame." Xiao Xiao is so good to him, and the Wang family also started with Xiao Xiao's father, but he turned around and ran to chase me. I really don't know if his head has been kicked by a donkey. Qin Haodong said, Momo, calm down and think about it. Wang Deshang's pursuit of you is not that simple. Not simple? Lin Momo was a very smart woman. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been the president of Lin's group at such a young age. She just lost her mind because of anger. After calming down and thinking for a few minutes, she said, now that you mention it, I also feel that something is wrong. Wang Deshang has never shown any affection for me before, and now he suddenly runs out to pursue me. It's a bit unusual. Moreover, he knows very well that Xiao Xiao and I are best friends. Even if he wants to chase a woman, he shouldn't chase me. Qin Haodong said, so I think Wang Deshang is very suspicious. Lin Momo thought for a moment and said, does this have anything to do with the blood revival elixir? It's very likely. Qin Haodong said, as you said, Wang Deshang doesn't show much affection for you, but now he suddenly came to confess in public. This is definitely not normal. Moreover, the current time is very special. Our blood revival elixir has just come on the market, which has attracted the attention of many people. In addition, he came back from M country, which can't help but make people suspicious. Lin Momo's face changed as she said, you mean he has something to do with Wilson's company? This is just a possibility. I can't be completely sure. After all, the blood revival elixir is a golden goose that can lay golden eggs and attract wealth in the eyes of many people. Therefore, Wilson's company may not be the only one watching us. There may be other hidden enemies. He thought for a moment and said, it can be seen that Wang Deshang knows nothing about traditional Chinese medicine, which shows that he doesn't like traditional Chinese medicine. Now he suddenly returned to China to invest in traditional Chinese medicine and set up the Wuxia Hall of Medical Fame. Even if he didn't come for our formula, he must have been stimulated by the blood revival elixir and wanted to get a share of the traditional Chinese medicine industry. Now that you mention it, I remember that Wang Deshang really doesn't believe in traditional Chinese medicine. When he was in college, he made many remarks against traditional Chinese medicine in student union activities. Now he suddenly wants to invest in traditional Chinese medicine. It's indeed a bit abnormal, Lin Momo said. What are you going to do? Qin Haodong said, let's wait and see. No matter what his purpose is, whether he likes traditional Chinese medicine or wants to get a share of the traditional Chinese medicine industry, as long as it is good for traditional Chinese medicine, I will welcome it. If it is bad for traditional Chinese medicine, then don't blame me. Speaking of this, his eyes became extremely fierce. Traditional Chinese medicine was now weak, and no one was allowed to be bad for traditional Chinese medicine. In the Wang family's villa, Wang Haiding and his son returned to their respective rooms with depressed expressions. After returning from the club, Wang Deshang had been very disappointed. However, when he closed the door, his expression immediately changed. The disappointment was swept away as if he had become a different person. After confirming that the door was locked, he took out a separate mobile phone from the drawer and dialed a series of phone numbers. After the phone was connected, someone on the other side asked, how's it going? It's not going very well. There have been some changes. Wang Deshang said, originally, I wanted to drive a wedge between Qin Haodong and Lin Momo by pursuing her, but now it seems that it won't work. What? With your charm for women, Lin Momo should be interested. As long as she is interested, Qin Haodong will naturally be dissatisfied with her. Wang Deshang said, it's different this time. Not only is Lin Momo not interested in me at all, but she also resents me because of my ex-girlfriend. Moreover, Qin Haodong is very calm as if he is very confident in Lin Momo. He doesn't show any signs of jealousy. It doesn't matter. Driving a wedge between them is not too important in our overall plan. The other side asked again, how is the establishment of the Hall of Medical Fame going? It's just passable. It has been officially established, but I didn't expect Qin Haodong to be the president of the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. Because of him, nearly half of the famous doctors in Wuxia refused to join the Hall of Medical Fame. This damn guy is really a stumbling block for us. Wang Deshang said, Qin Haodong is really a troublemaker. Because of him, the cooperation with Midas Investment Company has also changed. Maldini Jr. clearly refused to cooperate with me. If he wants to invest in the factory, he needs to solve the problem of funds again. Chapter 318. The person on the other side of the phone said, it's nothing. We don't lack money. The reason why I asked you to contact Maldini Jr. was to deceive people. Since it doesn't work, our own investment company can do it. What you need to do now is to build the Hall of Medical Fame and the traditional Chinese medicine factory as soon as possible and speed up our plan. As for Qin Haodong, you'd better get the formula. If you can't get it, at least destroy Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Company. Wang Deshang said respectfully, "Got it, boss? I'll work hard." After hanging up the phone, he took out a cigarette and started smoking. 5 minutes later, he put it out and picked up his cell phone to dial a number. After a busy day, Che Xiaoxiao returned to her room, took off her clothes and walked into the bathroom. After taking a shower, she dried her body with a bath towel. Looking at her beautiful face and sexy body in the mirror, she couldn't help but sigh. She had been waiting for 5 years. She didn't know when that man would come back. Did she have to wait until she looked old? Just as she was sighing, the phone on the bed suddenly rang. It was so late. Normally no one would call. Was something wrong? She wrapped her body in a bath towel and walked over. When she saw the phone number on the phone, she trembled. The number had been unreachable for a long time, but it suddenly called today. She was surprised, happy and wronged. "Deshang, is that you?" Che Xiaoxiao's voice was trembling. "Xiaoxiao, it's me. I'm back." Wang Deshang's magnetic voice came from the phone. "Deshang, is this true? I'm not dreaming, am I?" Che Xiaoxiao choked and cried. "Of course it's true. I promised you that I would come back and I will fulfill my promise." Che Xiaoxiao cried for a long time and then said, "It's been so long. Why didn't you call me? Why did you leave me waiting alone? Didn't I tell you that I was receiving special training in M country? During this period I can't contact my family no matter how close they are." "Well, where are you? I'll come to see you right away. I've been waiting for 5 years. I can't wait for a quarter of an hour." "Xiaoxiao, thank you for your hard work. I'll go find you now. Deshang, come here quickly, I want to see you right away," Che Xiaoxiao said excitedly. "Don't worry, we'll be there soon." Wang Deshang hung up the phone and drove away from the Wang's villa. 10 minutes later, he appeared in Che Xiaoxiao's room with a smile. Grand completion. Che Xiaoxiao threw herself into his arms. Although she had 1,000 words in her heart, they all turned into tears and flowed down her cheeks uncontrollably. "Xiaoxiao, I am back." Wang Deshang raised his hand to wipe the tears from the corners of Che Xiaoxiao's eyes and said gently, "You've lost weight, but you've become more beautiful. Deshang, you're finally back. Do you know how much I've missed you in the past 5 years?" Che Xiaoxiao said with tears in her eyes. "I miss you too. You are the woman I love the most." As he spoke, Wang Deshang picked Che Xiaoxiao up and walked to the big bed inside. Early the next morning, the sun rose from the east and the sunlight shone through the window onto the big bed in the room. Che Xiaoxiao held Wang Deshang's arm tightly, her face full of satisfaction and happiness. Wang Deshang kissed Che Xiaoxiao's forehead and said, "Okay, it's time to get up." Che Xiaoxiao said coquettishly, "I won't get up. I want to be with you like this forever." "Xiaoxiao, I came back to start a business this time. Why don't you come and help me?" "Okay, as long as I can see you every day, I'll do anything." Che Xiaoxiao agreed without hesitation. "Are you willing to give up your current job?" Looking at Wang Deshang's handsome face, Che Xiaoxiao said with an infatuated expression, "Of course I'm willing to give up my life for you. Don't worry, I won't let you down." Wang Deshang showed a charming smile and said, "I'm going to develop the traditional Chinese medicine industry. I'll set up a traditional Chinese medicine company and a hall of medical fame. You're my woman. In order to make up for what I owe you all these years, I'm going to let you be the legal representative of both industries." Che Xiaoxiao was moved. She held his arm and said, "Deshang, you don't have to. I don't want any compensation. I just want to be with you." "No, I have to show my sincerity," Wang Deshang said sincerely. Wang Deshang said sincerely, "You resign today and then we'll go through the legal person procedures." "Okay, I'll call the boss now." Che Xiaoxiao touched the mobile phone on the bedside table and directly dialed the phone number of the boss of the Jiangnan Hotel. Che Xiaoxiao had performed very well over the years. The boss hadn't expected her to suddenly resign. He kept trying to persuade her to stay and even offered to double her salary. However, Che Xiaoxiao was very determined and eventually resigned as the general manager. After hanging up the phone, she hugged Wang Deshang and said coquettishly, "Okay, now I don't have a job. I want you to support me for the rest of my life. You'll soon be the big boss of 2 companies. I want you to support me in the future." Wang Deshang said, "Let's go have breakfast now and then go through the procedures. I've been interested in a traditional Chinese medicine company that's being auctioned these days. The price has been negotiated. Let's go through the transfer procedures today." Che Xiaoxiao said, Do you have to be so anxious? I want you to accompany me today. Of course I'm anxious. This is our first business. Time is money. We must hurry up and do it well. After breakfast, Che Xiaoxiao and Wang Deshang went through the procedures of the Wuxia Hall of Medical Fame and the traditional Chinese medicine factory. Because the preliminary work had been done, they were very fast and finished near noon. The registration of the Hall of Medical Fame was completed, and the traditional Chinese medicine factory was renamed the Wuxia Hall of Medical Fame Traditional Chinese Medicine Factory. The two industrial and commercial licenses were written in Che Xiaoxiao's name. Holding the two industrial and commercial licenses in her arms, Che Xiaoxiao's heart was full of emotion. She didn't care much about money, but Wang Deshang had handed over two companies to her, which was enough to show his feelings for her. Deshang, you really don't have to do this. You paid for it. You should be the boss. I just need to work for you. Wang Deshang said, What are you talking about? You're my woman. Of course you're the boss's wife. I should work for you for the rest of my life. Che Xiaoxiao said with a happy face, Well, what's mine is yours anyway. Wang Deshang said, It's almost noon. Let's ask Momo out for lunch. Okay, I also want to ask Momo out. I'll tell her the good news that you're back so she won't always say that I've been cheated by you. Che Xiaoxiao took out her cell phone and excitedly dialed Lin Momo's number. At Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Company, Maldini Jr. came to say goodbye to Qin Haodong and Lin Momo near noon. Today he looked like a different person from yesterday. His eyebrows were full of excitement, and Alice was clinging to his arm like a little bird. Mr. Medical Sage, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm cured. I'm completely cured. Qin Haodong said jokingly, Mr. Maldini Jr., you didn't just get up, did you? Well, he said with a little embarrassment, I did get up a little late. Qin Haodong whispered in his ear, Tell me the truth. How many times did you do it last night? Maldini Jr. first stretched out his left hand, then two fingers of his right hand. With an expression that only men could understand, he said, Mr. Medical Sage, after living for more than 30 years, I didn't know that being a man could be so good. Not bad. Not bad. Qin Haodong patted him on the shoulder and said with a smile, 7 times in one night. Maldini Jr. said, Mr. Medical Sage, I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. From now on you'll be my lifelong friend. If you need anything, just tell me. I'll definitely do anything for my friend. He was really grateful to Qin Haodong from the bottom of his heart. If it weren't for this young man from Wuxia, he would never know what a man was in his life. He was afraid that he would never be able to raise his head. He also offered to pay $100 million for the treatment, but Qin Haodong refused. Maldini Jr. had already donated $100 million to the Chinese Medicine Association. This foreigner was a good person, so Qin Haodong was willing to help him. After chatting for a while, he officially said goodbye to Qin Haodong, Mr. Medical Sage, we're going back to M Country now. You're welcome to visit M Country when you have time. Are you in such a hurry? Why don't you have lunch before you go? Qin Haodong warmly asked him to stay. I won't have lunch. I still have a lot of things to deal with in M Country. See you later. As the president of Midas, Maldini Jr. did have a lot of things to deal with. It was not an exaggeration to say that he was very busy every day. Now that his illness had been cured, he immediately took his private plane back to M Country. After seeing off Maldini Jr. and the others, Lin Momo returned to the president's office and said, Haodong, do you think I should call Xiaoxiao and tell her that Wang Deshang is back? She had been struggling with this question for a long time. She didn't know whether she should call Che Xiaoxiao or not. If she didn't tell her, she would feel sorry for her best friend. If she told the truth, she was afraid that it would hurt Che Xiaoxiao. Qin Haodong said, I think you'd better not call her. What will you say if you call her? Will you say that Wang Deshang confessed to you in public? This will not only increase Che Xiaoxiao's pain, but I'm afraid you won't even be able to be friends. But if I don't say it, Xiaoxiao may wait for the rest of her life. But you said that she may suffer for the rest of her life. It can only be her misfortune to meet a man like Wang Deshang. While they were talking, Lin Momo's cell phone suddenly rang. She took it and looked at it. It turned out to be Che Xiaoxiao's phone number. She said nervously, It's Xiaoxiao. What should I do? Qin Haodong said, Answer it first. All right then. Lin Momo pressed the answer button. Before she could think about what to say, Che Xiaoxiao on the other side of the phone shouted excitedly, Momo, I have good news for you. What good news? Lin Momo secretly breathed a sigh of relief. She had just thought that Che Xiaoxiao had heard about Wang Deshang's confession to her. Fortunately, that terrible thing had not happened. Deshang is back. My Deshang is finally back. Che Xiaoxiao shouted excitedly. Really? Congratulations to you. Lin Momo's reaction was very calm, but Che Xiaoxiao, who was excited, did not notice it. She continued to say, Momo, I really feel so happy. Deshang said that we should have lunch together at noon. We haven't seen each other for a long time. Do you have time? Okay. Although Lin Momo did not want to see Wang Deshang again, she could not bear to refuse when she saw Che Xiaoxiao so excited, so she agreed. Well, remember to bring your little doctor. See you at the Jiangnan Hotel. Che Xiaoxiao said and hung up the phone. Lin Momo looked back at Qin Haodong and said, Wang Deshang asked Xiaoxiao to call us and ask us to have lunch together. I don't know what he is doing. Chapter 319. Qin Haodong said indifferently, Who cares? Since you've agreed, let's go and have a look. As long as I'm here, Wang Deshang won't be able to cause any trouble. Lin Momo nodded and said, This bastard just confessed his love to me. Why is he with Xiaoxiao again? I really don't know what he's doing. I'm worried that he'll hurt Xiaoxiao again. Don't guess. We'll know what's going on when we get there. Maybe he changed his mind after being rejected and found his conscience. He'll be with Xiaoxiao wholeheartedly in the future. That's impossible. Dogs can't stop eating shit. I've seen through Wang Deshang. He's just using Xiaoxiao. Lin Momo said, I just don't understand. Now that Xiaoxiao's father is dead, what else can he use? Let's go and have a look. If there's a suitable opportunity, remind Xiaoxiao. Qin Haodong took Lin Momo's hand and walked out of the door with her. At the same time that Che Xiaoxiao called Lin Momo, Wang Deshang also received a call from Wang Daji. Wang Daji asked, Brother, where are you? Wang Deshang said, I'm outside. What's the matter? I have a picture of Qin Haodong with another woman. I forgot to take it out yesterday. Do you think it's useful? Wang Deshang's face lit up and he said, It's useful. Send it to me as soon as possible. This gigolo has affairs with several women, including the girl from the Naylan family and 2 women I don't know. Which one do you want? I want them all. The more the better. Send it to me as soon as possible. Wang Deshang said excitedly. He had wanted to drive a wedge between Lin Momo and Qin Haodong yesterday, but he had failed. He hadn't expected that his idiot brother would have such photos. It seemed that he still had a chance. Soon the photos were sent to him. Wang Deshang looked at them and couldn't help but feel a kind of uncontrollable jealousy. The photos Wang Daji had collected were very complete. There were photos of Naylan Wushuang, Naylan Wuxia, Qi Waner, and Hu Xiaoxian. Any one of these women was a stunning beauty. They were smiling intimately with Qin Haodong. No wonder Wang Deshang was jealous. He had found many women in M country in the past few years, and there were many beautiful women among them. However, compared with these women, they were much worse. Deshang, what are you looking at? Che Xiaoxiao leaned over and asked. Wang Deshang suppressed his jealousy and put on a charming smile. He handed the phone to Che Xiaoxiao and said, Take a look and you'll know. Che Xiaoxiao took the phone and looked at the photo. She said in surprise, Isn't this the little Dr. Momo found? I didn't expect him to have so many women besides Momo. Wang Deshang said with a regretful expression, Yes, I didn't expect Momo to find such a playboy after so many years of not looking for a boyfriend. Che Xiaoxiao said, No, I have to show this to Momo, otherwise she must still be in the dark. Wang Deshang said pretentiously, This is her business. It's not good for us to interfere too much. What if Momo is willing? What are you talking about? Momo is my best friend. I have to tell her about this. Che Xiaoxiao suddenly came to her senses and asked, By the way, Deshang, where did you get these photos? You're not secretly following Momo, are you? Wang Deshang said, What kind of person do you think I am? I'm not that bored. Even if I wanted to find someone to follow, I would follow you, not Lin Momo. I don't need to follow you. You're the only man in my heart. Che Xiaoxiao kissed Wang Deshang on the cheek and asked, What's with these photos? How did you get them? Wang Deshang said, It's Daji. He doesn't stay at home all day and runs around. He knows that Qin Haodong is Momo's boyfriend. Later he saw Qin Haodong with another woman. He had nothing to do, so he hired a private detective to follow them and take so many photos. Daji is afraid that Momo will be cheated. He knows that we are classmates, so he just sent the photos to me and asked me to give them to Momo. But I don't want to do that. After all, it's her privacy. No, I have to tell Momo. Che Xiaoxiao didn't see that Wang Deshang was playing hard to get. In fact, he just wanted to send these photos to Lin Momo through her. Wang Deshang said reluctantly, Well, tell her if you insist. But don't drag me into it. Don't tell her that I gave you these photos. I won't tell her. Che Xiaoxiao said, I'll show these photos to Momo in private. No matter what, I have to let her know. She can't be cheated and be a fool. While talking, they arrived at the Jiangnan Hotel and booked a private room. Soon, Lin Momo and Qin Haodong came in. Momo, you're here. When Che Xiaoxiao saw Lin Momo, she immediately came over and held her arm. Then she introduced Qin Haodong and Wang Deshang to each other. This is my boyfriend Wang Deshang, and this is Momo's boyfriend Qin Haodong. Wang Deshang and Qin Haodong looked at each other. They both pretended that they didn't know each other and politely reached out their hands to shake hands. Sit down, everyone. Che Xiaoxiao asked them to sit down. Then she sat down close to Wang Deshang. The two of them interlocked their fingers with happy smiles on their faces. Lin Momo sighed secretly. Her good sister had completely fallen. It was impossible to expect her to wake up. She only hoped that Wang Deshang would stop being extreme and smile at Che Xiaoxiao. After ordering the food and wine, Che Xiaoxiao said, Momo, Deshang came back from M country this time because he wants to expand the traditional Chinese medicine industry. In the future, you will be the bosses of the traditional Chinese medicine industry and business partners. Women always couldn't help showing off, especially when their lover was good to them. Che Xiaoxiao took out the 2 industrial and commercial licenses that she had just obtained and said to Lin Momo, Momo, look, these are the 2 enterprises that Deshang has just set up. One is the Wuxia Hall of Medical Fame, and the other is the Hall of Medical Fame's traditional Chinese medicine factory. So fast. Lin Momo was slightly surprised. She knew that Wang Deshang was going to set up the Wuxia Hall of Medical Fame, but she hadn't expected that the factory would be built so soon. Che Xiaoxiao said proudly, yes, Deshang is efficient in everything he does. This traditional Chinese medicine factory was just acquired by him. The equipment in the factory is very complete, and it can start production right away. Lin Momo looked at the industrial and commercial licenses and asked in surprise, Xiaoxiao, why are the legal representatives all in your name? Well, Deshang said that I had waited for him for 5 years, and in order to compensate me, he put the 2 enterprises under my name. In fact, I said that it was not necessary, but he insisted on doing so. Che Xiaoxiao's face was full of happiness as she spoke. It had cost more than 300 million yuan to buy this traditional Chinese medicine factory, and he had put such a large amount of assets under her name. It could be seen that Wang Deshang loved her deeply. Lin Momo was very confused. A few minutes ago, she had speculated that Wang Deshang was using Che Xiaoxiao, but she couldn't understand why Wang Deshang would put hundreds of millions of assets under Che Xiaoxiao's name. Did he really find his conscience? Qin Haodong said, Xiaoxiao, now that you're the boss, will you still do the work of dreamy Jiangnan? Che Xiaoxiao said, no, I resigned from the boss this morning. From now on, I'll start a business with Deshang. If he gets rich, I'll get rich. If he begs, I'll beg. Wang Deshang said, don't worry, Xiaoxiao. I won't let you beg with me even if I have to sell my 2 kidneys. His words were soft and sweet. If she hadn't experienced it herself, she wouldn't have thought that this man had just confessed to another woman last night. Che Xiaoxiao said, Momo, you're a female entrepreneur, and Haodong is an expert in traditional Chinese medicine. We're newcomers in this industry. You have to teach us more in the future. You can't hide anything. While they were talking, the waiter had already brought up the wine and dishes. They ate and chatted. The atmosphere at the table seemed very harmonious under Che Xiaoxiao's leadership. After 3 rounds of wine and 5 dishes, Che Xiaoxiao said, Momo, I'm going to the bathroom to fix my makeup. Come with me. Okay, I'll go with you. Lin Momo also wanted to find a chance to persuade Che Xiaoxiao, so she left the room with her. After they left, Qin Haodong glanced at Wang Deshang and asked, Master Wang, what are you playing at? Wang Deshang smiled and said, I don't know what you want to ask. Qin Haodong said sarcastically, last night you just pursued Momo and today you're with Xiaoxiao. Your emotions change really fast. It's nothing. It's easy to understand, Wang Deshang said sarcastically. Wang Deshang said, after yesterday's failure, I realized that Che Xiaoxiao loves me the most, so I chose to be with her and will cherish her for the rest of my life. Do you think I'll believe that? Qin Haodong sneered. Wang Deshang didn't care at all. He said lightly, it's up to you whether you believe it or not. I really think so. Otherwise, why would I put so many industries under Xiaoxiao's name? Although our Wang family is rich, such a big industry is not a small amount. I wouldn't joke about it. Although Qin Haodong suspected Wang Deshang, he couldn't refute him for a while. He said, "Let's not talk about Xiao Xiao first. Did you really come back to develop traditional Chinese medicine this time?" "Of course I have to thank you. You showed me the value of the traditional Chinese medicine industry. The blood revival elixir is worth nearly 100 billion yuan. As a businessman, how can I not be jealous?" Qin Haodong looked directly at him and said, "I don't care if you use traditional Chinese medicine to make money, but if you do something harmful to traditional Chinese medicine, I will never forgive you." Wang Desheng laughed and said, "You're really suspicious. I want to use traditional Chinese medicine to make money. How could I do something harmful to traditional Chinese medicine? Wouldn't that be destroying my own job? As I said, although our Wang family is rich, it doesn't grow on trees. I've invested so much money, so I naturally want to earn it back quickly and seek greater profits." After a pause, he said, "In fact, you don't have to be so hostile to me. Although I pursued Momo yesterday, that's in the past. Now I love Xiao Xiao. I don't think we need to be enemies. On the contrary, we can be partners. Now my Hall of Medical Fame is recruiting famous doctors from all over the world. Your medical skills are good, so come to me. With your title as the medical sage, I can let you be the head of the Hall of Medical Fame. You can ask for anything. I can even accept an annual salary of tens of millions." "Sorry, I'm not interested. Money is not very attractive to me," Qin Haodong said. "Although we are both in the traditional Chinese medicine industry, the essence is different. You want to use traditional Chinese medicine to make money, while I want to develop and expand the traditional Chinese medicine industry. We have different principles and cannot make plans together." Wang Desheng didn't seem surprised by this result. He shook his head and said, "It's a pity that I can't cooperate with the medical sage." Chapter 320. Meanwhile, Lin Momo and Che Xiaoxiao walked out of the bathroom and entered an empty private room. Lin Momo said, "Xiaoxiao, I don't think you should be with Wang Desheng anymore. He's really unreliable." Che Xiaoxiao said, "Momo, I've told you that you're prejudiced against Desheng. You used to say that he was lying to me and wouldn't come back. Now he's back to fulfill his promise, isn't he? Desheng said that I'm the only woman he loves. I think it's true." Lin Momo was speechless, but she couldn't tell her best friend about Wang Desheng's confession last night. "Xiaoxiao, why can't you see it? Wang Desheng has been using you all this time." "Using me?" Che Xiaoxiao giggled and said, "I'm all alone now. My parents are dead and my family is in decline. I don't have money to cheat, but I'm willing to cheat. What else can he use me for? Besides, Desheng registered hundreds of millions of assets under my name. How could he use me like that?" From the bottom of her heart, Lin Momo always felt that Wang Desheng was not reliable, but she couldn't find a reason to refute him. She really didn't understand why Wang Desheng registered hundreds of millions of assets under Che Xiaoxiao's name. "Momo, I know you're doing this for my own good, but Desheng is absolutely sincere to me. I can feel that myself." Che Xiaoxiao said, "Momo, I don't think the little doctor is very suitable for you. He's really good and excellent, but he's too much of a playboy." As she spoke, she took out her mobile phone and showed Lin Momo the photos she had received from Wang Desheng. "You see, Momo, he's not just with you. There are several other women out there." Che Xiaoxiao said as she flipped through the photos, "I have to say that the little doctor is really capable. The women he finds are more beautiful than the other. I really don't know how he got them." Then she looked at Lin Momo. She thought that her best friend would be furious when she saw these intimate photos. Unexpectedly, Lin Momo said calmly, "I know these people and I know their relationship with Haodong, but I don't care." Che Xiaoxiao cried in surprise, Momo, are you crazy? Or was he drugged by that little doctor?" "I'm neither crazy nor drugged." Lin Momo said, "Haodong absolutely loves me. He's willing to sacrifice everything for me, including his life. I think that's enough for a woman. Nothing else matters." "All right, as long as you don't feel wronged." Che Xiaoxiao shook her head as she spoke, indicating that she did not understand. "You used to call me stupid, but now it seems that you're even more stupid than I am." Lin Momo smiled helplessly. She knew that neither of them could convince the other. Only time would tell whose choice was right. When the four of them sat down at the table again, they felt that the atmosphere had changed a little. Che Xiaoxiao was not as excited as before and seemed a little depressed. Wang Desheng said to Che Xiaoxiao, "Xiaoxiao, let's call it a day. There will be a press conference at 2 p.m. on the establishment of the Hall of Medical Fame. We have to go back early to prepare. As the president, you have a speech." Che Xiaoxiao nodded and said to Lin Momo and Qin Haodong, Let's call it a day. We'll get together another day. The four of them left the hotel together and got into their respective cars. Lin Momo said to Qin Haodong, "What do you think Wang Deshang is planning? How can she be true to Xiao Xiao?" Qin Haodong said, "It doesn't seem like it, but I can't figure out what the problem is." Yes, Wang Deshang is very selfish. He has always been using Xiao Xiao. This time he suddenly put the assets of the enterprise under Xiao Xiao's name. It's really hard to understand. Qin Haodong said, "Don't think about it if you can't understand it. After a long time, the fox's tail will show sooner or later." Lin Momo sighed and said, "In fact, I hope he really wants to be good to Xiao Xiao. That girl is pitiful enough now." Qin Haodong said, "Xiao Xiao found you outside because she has something to say to you, right?" Lin Momo said, "She showed me a lot of photos of you with Waner and Wushuang. There were photos of Xiaoxian, Wushuang, Wuxia and Waner. She also advised me to stay away from you." Qin Haodong smiled awkwardly. "This girl, she even took photos of me. I know Xiao Xiao. She definitely didn't take the photos. She just wanted to remind me not to be fooled by a gigolo like you." Lin Momo gave Qin Haodong a charming look, but she held his arm tighter. Qin Haodong said, "Since it wasn't Xiao Xiao, it must be Wang Deshang's doing. It seems that this guy still hasn't given up on you." "Who knows? When I was in school I felt that Wang Deshang was too scheming. Now I can't see through him." Qin Haodong said, "I didn't expect him to set up the Wuxia Hall of Medical Fame and the traditional Chinese medicine factory so quickly. I really don't understand what he wants to do. Is it just to make money?" Lin Momo said with some uncertainty, "It's hard to say. Maybe the Wang family is jealous of our blood revival elixir and wants to make a fortune in the traditional Chinese medicine industry." Qin Haodong said, "I still think it's not that simple. Wang Deshang is probably plotting something." Lin Momo said, "That's unlikely. The Wang family has also invested a lot of money this time. It's impossible that they don't want to make money. Moreover, no matter how insidious Wang Deshang is, what kind of conspiracy can he make? Do you think that their Chinese medicine factory can affect us?" Qin Haodong said, "I can't see through it. Anyway, it's right to be careful." While they were talking about Wang Deshang and Che Xiaoxiao were also talking about them. "Xiao Xiao, have you shown the photos to Momo? I don't think she has any reaction." Che Xiaoxiao said, "I've shown it to her and I've told her everything. But Momo is really stupid. She said she knew the relationship between Qin Haodong and these women, but she didn't care." Wang Deshang was slightly stunned at first, then he felt a burst of jealousy. How could Qin Haodong make Lin Momo love him so much that she would even share a man with other women? "What's wrong with you?" Che Xiaoxiao looked at Wang Deshang and asked. "Nothing." Wang Deshang quickly returned to normal and said, "I'm just surprised by Momo's attitude." "Yes, I'm also surprised. Momo always said I was stupid, but I didn't expect her to be more stubborn than me." Che Xiaoxiao said, "Momo also advised me to be careful of you. She said that you might be using me." Wang Deshang's expression changed slightly as he said, "What did you say? Do you believe Momo?" "Momo is my best friend. Of course I believe what she says." Che Xiaoxiao stuck out her tongue and said, "But I thought about it. You can lie to me all you want. Anyway, I don't have money now, so it's not a big deal to lie to you. I'll just take it as finding a prostitute for free." Then she giggled again, obviously not listening to Lin Momo's words at all. Wang Deshang's eyes flashed with imperceptible pride as he said, "Hurry up and get ready. Our press conference is about to begin. I've invited a lot of reporters from the media." Che Xiaoxiao said, "It doesn't matter. As long as you're by my side, I'm not afraid of anything." At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Wang Deshang and Che Xiaoxiao held their first press conference in the newly purchased traditional Chinese medicine factory. In addition to the two of them, Fu Hailong, the head of Xuanhu House, and Lu Baikuan, the head of Jishir Tang, were also on the rostrum. The two old men with white hair and beards looked like famous doctors. Other Chinese medicine practitioners who joined the Hall of Medical Fame were also sitting in the audience. At the beginning of the press conference, Wang Deshang announced the official establishment of the Wuxia Hall of Medical Fame and its traditional Chinese medicine factory. He asked Che Xiaoxiao to show the business licenses of the two companies to the reporters. "Mr. Wang, I want to ask, since you invested in the traditional Chinese medicine industry, why is Miss Che the legal person of these two companies?" Wang Deshang glanced at Che Xiaoxiao and they smiled at each other. Then he said to the reporters, "Xiaoxiao is the person I love most and will be my wife in the future. What's mine is hers. It makes no difference whether the legal person of the two companies is me or her." Another reporter asked, Mr. Wang, as far as I know, Haitian Group's main business was real estate and finance. Why did you suddenly enter the traditional Chinese medicine industry? Wang Desheng said, although I've been wandering abroad for 5 years, I feel that my roots are still in Wuxia, so I've been thinking about how to come back and contribute to my motherland. Wang Desheng raised his hand and pointed to the traditional Chinese medicine practitioners sitting in the audience and said, all of you here are famous doctors hired by the Wuxia Hall of Medical Fame. As for whether they are better than the medical sage, time will tell us. Chapter 321. Although it was only a few words, the reporters had keenly sensed the tension in Wang Desheng's tone, which made them extremely excited. The establishment of Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company was already the hottest news at the moment, and the establishment of the Wuxia Hall of Medical Fame could be said to have ignited another news point. If there were some sparks between the two news points, it would be a bigger news point, which was exactly what the reporters wanted. Mr. Wang, I would like to ask if what you just said can be regarded as a challenge to Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company? Challenge? Wang Desheng smiled disdainfully and said, as far as I know, Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company was only established a few days earlier than us. At present they only have one product, the blood revival elixir. I really don't see anything worthy of our challenge. At most, they can be regarded as an industry competitor. Mr. Wang, Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company has a master of traditional Chinese medicine like the medical sage. Because of the existence of Dr. Qin, everyone speculates that there will be other heavyweight products in the future. Che Xiaoxiao felt that Wang Desheng had gone too far, so she kept winking at him, but Wang Desheng ignored her. He continued, the Wuxia Hall of Medical Fame doesn't have gimmicks like Medical Sage, Medical King, or Medical Fairy, but we have many excellent traditional Chinese medicine practitioners. At 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, the Wuxia Hall of Medical Fame will hold a free clinic in the Health Square. You are welcome to witness the glory of our famous doctors. Mr. Wang, the Jiangnan Traditional Chinese Medicine Association has just announced that there will be a free clinic in the Health Square at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. The Wuxia Hall of Medical Fame has chosen the same time and place as them. Is there any special meaning in this? In other words, are you trying to compete with the Chinese Medicine Association? Wang Desheng smiled and said, it's not as complicated as you think. Maybe it's just a coincidence. But when the time comes, everyone will know who is better and who is worse. Qin Haodong drove Lin Momo back to Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company and then drove to the Jiangnan Traditional Chinese Medicine Association. It had to be said that Gao Fengwen was quite efficient. After buying the primary school, he had already begun to plan to build a new office building. President Qin, you're here. Upon seeing Qin Haodong, Gao Fengwen immediately invited him into the temporary office. Xin Xiangfu and Zhong Sihai were also there. Qin Haodong sat down and asked, how's the preparation for tomorrow's free clinic? Gao Fengwen said, everything is ready. All 78 members of the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association will participate. The venue is the Health Square, which is in line with the theme of the free clinic. The time is set at 9 a.m. Not bad. Qin Haodong nodded. How's the publicity going? Has the news spread? Xin Xiangfu said, the publicity is in place. Today, all the major media have published the news that our Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association is going to have a free clinic. At the same time, I also asked my disciples to publicize it on the internet. The effect is very good. While they were talking, a young man in his 20s ran in from outside with a mobile phone and shouted to Xin Xiangfu, Master, something happened. Xin Xiangfu said with dissatisfaction, what's the fuss? Can't you see the president is here? The young man glanced at Qin Haodong and said awkwardly, Master, Wuxia Traditional Chinese Medicine Practitioner just held a press conference. The guy named Wang Desheng said a lot of unfavorable things about our Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. He also set the free clinic at 9 a.m. tomorrow in the Health Square. It's obvious that he wants to challenge us. Really? Xin Xiangfu said, is there a video? Show it to us. Yes. The young man put the mobile phone on the table and pressed the play button. It happened to be the scene of Wang Desheng answering the questions of the reporters at the press conference. After watching it, Gao Fengwen slapped the table and said angrily, Wang Desheng is so shameless. I really don't know who gave him the courage to look down on the medical skills of the medical sage. Is there anyone in Wuxia who has better medical skills than the medical sage? Zhong Sihai also said, he's really arrogant. How dare he say that he has developed a medicine comparable to the blood revival elixir? How is that possible? Shen Xiangfu shook his head and said, he dares to talk nonsense. I can only say that the ignorant are fearless. This guy doesn't know what traditional Chinese medicine is at all, let alone the value of the blood revival elixir. Qin Haodong just smiled after watching the video. Wang Desheng was obviously venting his dissatisfaction at being rejected by him. Shen Xiangfu said, President, this guy is so disrespectful to you. How can you still smile? Qin Haodong smiled and said, it's nothing. In the end, traditional Chinese medicine still depends on ability. I hope he can do what he says and come up with some decent medicines to promote the influence of traditional Chinese medicine in society. Zhong Sihai said, it's too difficult. Except for you, no one has been able to develop a magic medicine like the blood revival elixir for so many years. It's even more impossible for a layman like him to do it. Qin Haodong said, I think it's good to set up a hall of medical fame. It will bring together good traditional Chinese medicine practitioners, so it's easier to give full play to everyone's wisdom. For example, our Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. The collective strength is definitely much greater than that of an individual. Shen Xiangfu said, that's different. How can Wang Desheng's Hall of Medical Fame compare to our Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association? We are dedicated to the development of traditional Chinese medicine. The president not only has excellent medical skills, but he has also donated $100 million to the association. Wang Desheng entered the traditional Chinese medicine industry just to make money. The two are different in nature. Shen Xiangfu said, it's not easy to take the road of industrialization of traditional Chinese medicine. There have been cases before but they all failed. I don't understand why Wang Desheng, a layman, suddenly wants to invest in traditional Chinese medicine. Zhong Sihai said, why not? He must be jealous of the blood revival elixir. He thinks that if the president can set up Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Company, he can set up a Wuxia Hall of Medical Fame. This kind of person only sees the success of others, but he can't see his own shortcomings. Qin Haodong said, I personally don't object to making money through the traditional Chinese medicine industry. It's also good for promoting traditional Chinese medicine. I'm just afraid that he will do something bad for traditional Chinese medicine. Gao Fengwen nodded and said, yes, I'm also afraid that he will do something bad for traditional Chinese medicine. Shen Xiangfu said, the most important thing is to prepare for tomorrow's free clinic. Our Chinese Medicine Association can't be defeated by the Wuxia Hall of Medical Fame. Zhong Sihai said confidently, don't worry. Although Fu Hailong and Lu Baiquan are really good, we have the medical sage on our side. How can we lose to them? Gao Fengwen said, yes, Wang Desheng chose to hold a free clinic on the same day as us. He's asking to be humiliated. Qin Haodong said with a smile, it's good to be confident, but we still have to take it seriously. Let's get ready. The next morning, in the health square of Jiangnan City, the banner of the Jiangnan Chinese Medicine Association was put up on the east side, and the sign of the Hall of Medical Fame was put up on the west side. Anyone could see that the east and the west side were obviously fighting. There were a total of 78 doctors of traditional Chinese medicine on Qin Haodong's side. Most of them were over 60 years old. If they insisted on a day of free medical treatment, they would certainly be exhausted in terms of physical strength. Therefore, Qin Haodong divided them into 39 groups of 2. Together with his own desk, there were a total of 40 desks. There was a similar number of doctors on the Hall of Medical Fame's side, so the battle formation was basically the same. At 9 o'clock, the free clinic officially began. Because both sides had done enough publicity before, there were many patients who came to participate in the free clinic. Both the Traditional Chinese Medicine Association and the Hall of Medical Fame were surrounded by patients who came to see a doctor. However, an embarrassing scene soon appeared. Gao Fengwen and Shen Xiangfu all had a long line, but there was no one at Qin Haodong's desk. It looked empty. It was no wonder that the other old Chinese medicine practitioners were all wearing long robes and had long eyebrows and beards. They looked very dignified. He was only about 20 years old, so he didn't look like a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner. In addition, he had been afraid that it would be inconvenient for him to travel, so he had done some tricks when taking photos. He had cast a small illusion on his face, so no one had recognized him as the famous medical sage. Qin Haodong couldn't help but smile bitterly when he saw that everyone else was busy and he was the only one who was free. Would he have to get a fake beard and stick it on in the future? Just then he heard someone shouting, Dr. Qin, I'm here." Qin Haodong looked up and saw Ma Sanbao leading a middle-aged man over. Dr. Qin, this is a friend of mine. He has been suffering from leukemia for 2 or 3 years. This time he came to Jiangnan City to buy the blood revival elixir, but he couldn't get it after waiting for a few days. Can you take a look at him? It would be best if you could sell him a blood revival elixir directly. Qin Haodong said, well, I'll take a look at him. As he spoke, Qin Haodong asked the middle-aged man to sit in front of his desk and began to feel his pulse. Soon, he withdrew his right hand and said, in addition to leukemia, your liver is not very good. Well, I'll give you a prescription. After taking the blood revival elixir for 3 days, take the medicine according to this prescription. You will be cured in a week. He picked up a pen and paper, wrote a prescription, and gave it to the middle-aged man along with a box of blood revival elixir. He knew that he would definitely meet leukemia patients that day, so he had prepared some blood revival elixirs before coming. Now it was useful. Thank you, Dr. Qin. Thank you so much. The middle-aged man gratefully took the prescription and the blood revival elixir. He took out a stack of bills and said, Dr. Qin, how much do you need? Qin Haodong said, today's free clinic is free. The blood revival elixir is a gift for you. Take it quickly. Since the blood revival elixir came out, the rule of sale was to take it on the spot and not take it away. Well, thank you, Dr. Qin. Thank you very much. You are a living bodhisattva. I will set up a memorial tablet for you when I go home. The middle-aged man took the blood revival elixir after thanking him profusely. Then he left with the prescription. Before leaving, Ma Sanbao said to the onlookers, what are you looking at? You're really blind. Don't you recognize that this is medical sage Qin Haodong? There is no disease in this world that the medical sage can't cure. Hurry up to see a doctor. There will be no more shops like this if you miss this one. Only then did the others realize that this young man was the famous medical sage Qin Haodong. Oh my God, the medical sage is right in front of me, but I didn't recognize him. I want to see the medical sage. Don't wait here. The medical sage is over there. What are you waiting for? The doctor who invented the blood revival elixir? My second uncle is worried about not being able to buy medicine. I'll go and line up for him now. After hearing that Qin Haodong was the medical sage, the surrounding patients immediately rushed over to line up like a swarm of bees. Those who were slower could only line up at the back. There was nothing in front of Qin Haodong just now, but in the blink of an eye, there was no end in sight. Chapter 322. Qin Haodong ignored Ma Sanbao and immediately began to busy himself. Although he was very fast, more and more patients came to see him after hearing the news. The queue in front of him was getting longer and longer. Soon, even the patients of the Hall of Medical Fame heard the news that the medical sage was seeing patients at the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. It didn't take long before there were only a few people left at the Hall of Medical Fame, while the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association was overcrowded. Looking at the empty queue in front of her and the sea of people at the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association, Che Xiaoxiao said to Wang Deshang, Deshang, it seems that our influence here is not enough. Wang Deshang looked calm and said, don't worry. Sometimes fame alone won't last long. You also need real ability. Che Xiaoxiao didn't quite understand what he meant, but she didn't care. After all, the patient had the right to choose. If they didn't come to see them, there was nothing they could do. As time went by, it was already noon. There were fewer and fewer patients in the Hall of Medical Fame, but there were more and more patients in the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association, which made the doctors very busy. At this moment, there was a disturbance in the crowd in the distance. Someone shouted, oh no, someone died. The doctor of the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association killed someone. Following this shout, the others immediately scattered in all directions, leaving a circle in the middle. Gao Fengwen and the others were close to the location of the accident. When they heard the news, they immediately ran over. They saw a middle-aged man in his 50s lying on the ground, motionless. It seemed that he was no different from a dead man. Next to the middle-aged man, a yellow-haired middle-aged woman pointed at the nose of an old Chinese medicine doctor and scolded, you quack, you killed my man. I don't want to live anymore. I'm going to kill you today. The old Chinese medicine practitioner's name was Zhou Jingping. Seeing the middle-aged woman making a scene, he quickly said, you can't blame me. It has nothing to do with me. I just felt his pulse and he died. There must be other hidden diseases. You quack, you killed my man and you still don't admit it. I will tear your mouth. The yellow-haired woman grabbed Zhou Jingping's face as she spoke. Zhou Jingping quickly stepped back. His face was not scratched, but his robe was torn. Just then the other people from the Chinese Medical Association rushed over and pulled the blonde woman away. Looking at the middle-aged man on the ground, Gao Fengwen asked Zhou Jingping, "What the hell is going on?" Zhou Jingping gasped for breath, tidied up his torn clothes and said, "Vice President Gao, I'm not too sure either. This person said he came to see a doctor, but he sat here for less than 10 seconds. I just touched his wrist and before I could even feel his pulse he suddenly fell to the ground and died. This has absolutely nothing to do with my treatment." The yellow-haired woman shouted, "Bastard quack, how can it have nothing to do with you? You killed my man. I'm not done with you. I'll send you to prison. I'll make you pay with your life." After this woman's disturbance, the other doctors also became nervous. As doctors, they were most afraid of encountering this kind of thing. If they really killed someone, not only would it affect their reputation, but it would also attract a large number of relevant departments to investigate them. They might even end up in jail. Gao Fengwen said, "Lady, don't worry. We're a volunteer clinic of the Chinese Medicine Association. If it's because of us, our association will never shirk the responsibility, but we must find out what exactly happened." The yellow-haired woman immediately screamed, "He's dead. Don't you know? It's your quack who killed my man. You must give me an explanation today, or I'll send you all to prison." At this time, Qin Haodong rushed over and glanced at the middle-aged man on the ground. Although his vitality was very weak, it had not completely disappeared. He said, "Who told you that the patient is dead? He's not dead now. Let me see his situation." Then he went over to treat the middle-aged man, but the yellow-haired woman opened her arms in front of him and shouted, "I'll never believe you Chinese medicine practitioners again. You've killed my man and you still don't admit it." Qin Haodong said, "You have to let me check the patient's situation. As I said, he's not dead now. If you delay like this, he may really die." The yellow-haired woman cried, "Nonsense. I've already seen him. My man doesn't even have a heartbeat and breathing. How can you say that he's not dead? You're trying to shirk the responsibility." Qin Haodong said, "Don't worry. If it's our responsibility, we'll take it to the end. But if it's not our responsibility, it's impossible to force it on us." The yellow-haired woman glanced at him and said, "Who are you? What right do you have to say that here? Can you make the decision?" Gao Fengwen said, "This is Qin Haodong, the president of our Chinese Medicine Association. He can make the decision." Qin Haodong said, "Now can you let me see the patient's situation?" The yellow-haired woman cried, "No, you're all in cahoots. I've called 120 and the police. When the police come, they'll arrest you quacks and put you in prison." During the quarrel, a siren sounded. An ambulance and a police car drove over one after another. Nalan Wuxia in uniform walked into the crowd with several doctors. Nalan Wuxia first glanced at Qin Haodong and then said, "What's going on?" The yellow-haired woman cried first, "Comrade police, you have to help me. These quacks killed my man. You must arrest them and put them in prison." Qin Haodong said, "It's not like that. The patient suddenly fell ill here, but he's not dead yet." Nalan Wuxia said, "Sister, don't quarrel. Let the doctor check the patient's situation first. Don't delay the rescue." At this time, the doctor got out of the ambulance and came to the middle-aged man. A middle-aged female doctor wearing glasses listened to the heartbeat and looked at the pupils. Finally, she shook her head and said, "There are signs of pupils dilation. The heartbeat and pulse have completely disappeared. There's no need to rescue him. Call the crematorium." After this conclusion was sent, the faces of the Chinese Medicine Association's doctors darkened. It seemed that they were really in big trouble. The yellow-haired woman cried, "Did you hear that? The heartbeat and pulse are gone. How can you say he's not dead? You quack." Seeing that the man was really dead, Zhou Jingping cried with a livid face, "Although he's dead, it has nothing to do with me. He suddenly died. I can't touch his pulse and kill him. I suggest an autopsy to find out the patient's cause of death." The yellow-haired woman cried, "Bullsh*t. My man is in good health. Today he saw your free clinic so he came to join in the fun. How could he suddenly die? You killed him." As she spoke, she began to cry loudly. Her sad appearance made people's hearts ache. Che Xiaoxiao and Wang Deshang were also among the crowd. Che Xiaoxiao said in a low voice, "What the hell is going on? Don't tell me you'll kill him just by feeling his pulse?" Wang Deshang sneered and said, "Who knows? As the saying goes, the higher you stand, the harder you fall. The Chinese Medicine Association is in big trouble this time." Qin Haodong glanced at the yellow-haired woman. Others were confused by the woman's illusion, but he could see clearly that although the woman was crying hard, she was not sad at all. It was all for others to see. The yellow-haired woman cried even more sadly, "Honey, how can you go like this? What about me and the child? Who will take care of my 80-year-old mother? Why is my life so bitter?" Qin Haodong said, "Things have to be solved eventually. Tell me, what do you want? Maybe you can give me a number and I can satisfy you." Gao Fengwen said, "President, this is not appropriate. Although this man is dead, it has nothing to do with our Chinese Medicine Association. I've been a Chinese medicine practitioner for so many years, but I've never heard of someone dying by touching the pulse." Qin Haodong said, "Anyway, he is dead. Let's see what his family has to say first." After hearing this, the yellow-haired woman seemed to be immediately refreshed. She stood up, wiped her tears and said, "I also know that people can't come back to life. Anyway, he is dead and there are children and old people at home who need to be taken care of. It's not easy for you to give free medical treatment here, so I reluctantly agree to settle it privately." The woman made a gesture of generosity and no longer pursuing the matter. Qin Haodong said, "Then what? How much do you want to pay for this?" The yellow-haired woman said, "As the saying goes, life is at stake. My husband is dead and I have to take care of my mother and children at home. I don't want more from you. Just give me this number," she said as she stretched out an index finger. Zhou Jinping said quickly, "President, you can't agree. This man's death has nothing to do with me. Why should I give her 1 million? Quack, get out of my way." The woman shouted at Qin Haodong, "I'm not talking about 1 million but 10 million. Qin Haodong glanced at her and sneered, "10 million? Don't you think you're too greedy?" The onlookers also burst into an uproar. Generally speaking, whether it was a traffic accident or a mine disaster, 1 million was generally a very high compensation. This woman actually asked for 10 million. It was obvious that she was going to ask for an exorbitant price. The yellow-haired woman shouted at the top of her voice, "Is 10 million a lot? How much money can buy my husband's life? I'll agree to settle it privately if you give me 10 million. Not a penny less or I'll send you all to prison." "Are you kidding me? Even if it's our responsibility, it's my own responsibility. What does it have to do with others?" Zhou Jinping said to Nalan Wuxia, "Officer, I request that the body be sealed, and then the forensic autopsy will analyze the cause of death. If it's my responsibility, I won't escape. If it has nothing to do with me, we won't pay a penny." The yellow-haired woman cried, "Bastard, is this your attitude to solve the problem? You killed someone but you don't have any remorse." Qin Haodong waved his hand and stopped Zhou Jinping, who still wanted to argue. He said, "Well, let me check the body. If it's confirmed that he's dead, I'm willing to pay you 10 million. What do you think?" The middle-aged female doctor who had just confirmed the death had not left yet. Seeing Qin Haodong questioning her conclusion, she said discontentedly, "He's really dead. Is there any doubt?" Qin Haodong said, "I'm stubborn. I have to verify it myself." The yellow-haired woman hesitated for a moment and said, "Are you sure you'll pay if you check it?" "Of course." Qin Haodong said, "The premise is that he's really dead." The woman gritted her teeth as if she had made a very important decision. She moved aside and said, "You check it." Chapter 323. Qin Haodong walked to the dead man and put his hand on the pulse. As he had expected, the man was in a state of suspended animation and was not really dead. Gao Fengwen also came over. First, he opened the dead man's eyelids and found that his pupils were dilated. Then he put his hand on his chest to feel the man's heartbeat. There was no breath. Then he felt the pulse but there was no response at all. He looked up at Qin Haodong and whispered, "President, this man is really dead." From the bottom of his heart he also felt that Qin Haodong was a little reckless. He should not have easily agreed to the woman's request. 10 million yuan was not a small number. The female doctor looked at Qin Haodong with a smile and said, "What do you think? You didn't believe my diagnosis, did you? Why did you have to see it yourself? What did you find?" Hearing Gao Fengwen say that her man was dead, the yellow-haired woman's eyes flashed with imperceptible pride. She shouted to Qin Haodong, "What do you think? What else do you have to say? Hurry up and pay me." Qin Haodong smiled and said calmly, "You're all wrong. This man is not dead." The yellow-haired woman cried, "Why are you like this? He said he's dead but you just want to deny it." Qin Haodong said, "What's the hurry? If I can't make him stand up in 10 minutes, I'll transfer 10 million yuan to your account immediately." The female doctor looked at Qin Haodong with even more disdain. If Gao Fengwen and the others were not present, she would have thought that Qin Haodong was out to make trouble. It was obvious that this man was dead. How could he stand up? Did he really think that he could bring the dead back to life? Looking at Qin Haodong's confident look, Gao Fengwen asked doubtfully, "President, what's going on? Why didn't I see any flaws?" Qin Haodong said, "Have you heard of the immortal grass?" The immortal grass? As soon as he said that, Xin Xiangfu, Zhong Sihai, and several experienced Chinese medicine doctors next to him changed their expressions. Although they had never seen the immortal grass, they had seen it in ancient books. It was said that after eating the immortal grass, one could be in a state of suspended animation for 3 days. He looked like a dead person, but he would return to normal after 3 days. Gao Fengwen asked, "President, do you mean that this man took the immortal grass?" Qin Haodong shook his head and said, "It's not the grass of immortality, but a medicine similar to it." After listening to Qin Haodong, the yellow-haired woman's expression changed slightly, but she still held up her mobile phone and shouted, "As you can see, 2 minutes have passed. There are 8 minutes left." Gao Fengwen said nervously, "President, time is running out. Can we make it?" Qin Haodong said calmly, "More than enough." As he spoke, he took out a bag of needles from his pocket. In the blink of an eye, more than 20 silver needles were inserted into the man's chest. "So fast, who is this young man? Why does it look like a magic trick? Don't you know him? This is the most famous medical sage in Jiangnan, Dr. Qin Haodong. What is this young doctor doing? Can it really bring the dead back to life?" Qin Haodong ignored the comments around him. 5 minutes later, he took back all the silver needles. The dead man was lying on the ground with a layer of black qi covering his face. He still looked the same. Did he fail? There seems to be no reaction. It should be so. Many doctors said that this man was dead. How could he come back to life? It seems that even the medical sage can't do it. No one can bring the dead back to life. The female doctor's mouth was full of disdain. Does he really think he's a magic doctor? Can he bring the dead back to life? The yellow-haired woman was a little nervous at first, but then she shouted arrogantly, "There is only 1 minute left. Get ready to take the money." Looking at her expression, she did not look sad at all, like a family member of the dead. Qin Haodong sneered and said, "Don't worry, there is one last procedure." As he spoke, he raised his hand and patted the middle-aged man's chest. The man suddenly sat up from the ground, opened his mouth, and spat out a mouthful of pink liquid. Oh my God, this man really came back to life. The dead came back to life. The medical sage is really the medical sage. He can actually bring the dead back to life. I've really opened my eyes. He can even bring the dead back to life. This medical skill is amazing. Seeing the man sitting up from the ground, Gao Fengwen and the others all breathed a sigh of relief and looked at Qin Haodong with admiration in their eyes. If this man had really died, it would definitely have a bad impact on the reputation of the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. At the same time, it would be very troublesome. Zhou Jingping might also be sued. The female doctor was stunned and speechless. She had been a doctor for almost 20 years. She did not expect to encounter such a magical thing. It was obvious that this man was dead. How could he come back to life? The yellow-haired woman stood there like a statue with a timer in her hand. She did not expect that Qin Haodong would really wake up her man in 10 minutes. Qin Haodong looked at the pool of yellow water and frowned slightly. He looked thoughtful. The only one who did not know what was going on was the middle-aged man who had just woken up. He opened his eyes and saw the yellow-haired woman in front of him. He immediately shouted, "Honey, did you get the money?" As soon as he said this, the people around him immediately laughed. Now even a fool could see that these two people had used a special method to cheat money here. Hearing the laughter around him, the middle-aged man came to his senses. After looking around, he pretended to say, "Honey, what happened to me just now? Why did I suddenly faint?" The yellow-haired woman was also like a drama queen. She cooperated and said, "Yes, honey, you suddenly fainted just now. It's good that you're fine now. Let's go home quickly." Then she pulled the middle-aged man up and was about to leave, but they were blocked by Qin Haodong and the people of the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. Qin Haodong said coldly, "Are you going to leave just like that?" The yellow-haired woman said, "Since my man is fine, I won't ask you for money. Are you still not going to let us go?" Zhou Jingping shouted angrily, "You say you want money and you say you don't want money and you say you don't want money. What do you think our Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association is? How can there be such a good thing?" He was really angry. It was obvious that these two guys had come to blackmail him. If Qin Haodong had not happened to see through it, he might have been sued. The people around also shouted, "Liars, the police arrest them." This kind of blackmailer is the most annoying. They should be put in prison and never released. Just now they opened their mouths and asked for 10 million yuan. Now they want to leave after being seen through. How can there be such a good thing? They must pay the price. Qin Haodong looked at the two and said, "Tell me what the hell is going on?" This accident, it's all an accident." The yellow-haired woman said embarrassedly, "My husband had a heart attack before. I don't know why it happened just now, but now he's all right. It's all right." The middle-aged man also said, "Yes, I don't know why I suddenly had a heart attack just now, and then I fainted." Anyone could see that it was a lie. Qin Haodong didn't want to talk nonsense with them, so he directly used mind bewitching. "Be honest, what the hell is going on? Who asked you to come?" A trace of confusion flashed in the yellow-haired woman's eyes, and then she said, "A man asked us to come here. He gave us 20,000 yuan and asked us to come here to blackmail." The onlookers immediately became restless. They didn't expect that the woman would tell the truth so easily. Nalan Wuxia was very clear about Qin Haodong's ability to interrogate, so she asked a young policeman to take out a notebook to record. Sure enough, there was someone behind this matter. Qin Haodong asked again, "Who is that middle-aged man? Do you have his contact information?" The yellow-haired woman said, "We don't know that man. He was wearing a mask and sunglasses, so we couldn't see what he looked like. The two of us were originally blackmailer. 2 hours ago, the man suddenly found us and gave us a bottle of potion. He said that drinking this potion was no different from a dead person, and that you would wake up after 12 hours. He asked us to come here to blackmail. He gave us 20,000 yuan as a reward, and he didn't want a cent of the money he extorted from here. At that time we were obsessed with money, so we agreed." Qin Haodong said, "Aren't you afraid that this is poison and you will die completely after drinking it?" The middle-aged man said, "Of course I'm afraid. I just want to make some money. I don't really want to die." The man was also afraid that we wouldn't believe him, so he asked us to take a little bit and feed it to our dog. The dog immediately became like a dead dog after drinking it, but half an hour later, it was alive again. That's why we believed him and came here to pretend to be dead to cheat money." Qin Haodong asked a few more questions, but the two blackmailers only knew so much, so he couldn't get any more information. He turned to Nalan Wuxia and said, "I'll leave these two people to you. Check again and see if you can find any useful clues." What he wanted to know most now was who was behind this. Nalan Wuxia nodded and waved to the young policeman behind her, "Take them away." The two policemen handcuffed the first two blackmailers and took them to the police car. There was an immediate burst of applause from the crowd. These two bastards asked for 10 million yuan as soon as they opened their mouths. I guess they will spend the rest of their lives in prison. What's wrong with them? They have to blackmail. This kind of person is the most wicked. The matter had been handled here. Qin Haodong turned to the doctors of the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association and said, "It's all right now. Let's continue the free clinic." After receiving his order, the doctors immediately returned to their posts, but the patients did not disperse. They surrounded Qin Haodong and shouted, "Long live the medical sage. Good job, medical sage. Medical sage, we love you. A benevolent doctor can bring the dead back to life. He deserves to be our medical sage of Wuxia." Wang Deshang and Che Xiaoxiao were mixed in the crowd. At first he was smiling and watching with relish. Later, when he saw Qin Haodong turn the situation around in an instant, his face suddenly darkened. At this time, when he heard the cheers of the people, his face became more and more gloomy. He didn't expect that his plan not only failed to bring down Qin Haodong and the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association, but also created the reputation of the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. When he returned to the Wuxia Hall of Medical Fame, he found that some patients had also run to the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. Only the Chinese medicine practitioners he had recruited were there. Everyone was sitting in front of the consultation table, but there was no patient in front of them. "Deshang, what's wrong with you? Why do you look so pale?" Che Xiaoxiao asked with concern. "It's nothing. I'm just a little uncomfortable," Wang Deshang said to Hai Long. "Everyone has worked hard all day. Go back and rest early." At this point he could only cancel today's free clinic early. Otherwise, the Hall of Medical Fame would only be more shameful sitting here. After leaving the health square, he refused Che Xiaoxiao's company on the grounds of discomfort and went home. "Brother, you're back." As soon as he entered the door, Wang Daji greeted him. He didn't notice Wang Deshang's pale face. He followed him and said proudly, "Brother, I did a good job today, didn't I?" Is Qin Haodong completely dumbfounded? Chapter 324. Wang Desheng ignored Wang Daji and quickly returned to his room. He grabbed the red wine bottle on the table and poured a large glass. Then he drank it up as if he wanted to use the wine to extinguish the depression in his heart. Wang Daji found that his mood was not right and said, "What's wrong, brother? You should be happy that such a big thing happened to the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. Why don't you look happy?" "I'm not happy." Wang Desheng changed his usual elegant image. He threw the wine glass in his hand to the ground and scolded, "That gigolo is very cunning. Our plan not only failed but it also made him more popular. Now everyone is shouting that the medical sage can bring the dead back to life." Wang Daji said in surprise, "How could this be? I asked that guy to test it on a dog. As long as he drank a little he was like a dead dog. There was no breathing, no heartbeat, and even his body temperature dropped. How could he tell?" "I don't know how he could tell. In short, our plan did not succeed. This guy is much more difficult to deal with than we thought." Wang Desheng took a deep breath, suppressed his anger and said, "What about the rest of the medicine? Bring it back to me." Wang Daji said, "Brother, this thing is very fun. We can pretend to be dead and cheat people. Just leave it for me to play with." "It's not fun." Wang Desheng cried, "Is this something we can play with casually? Now that gigolo must be suspicious. We can't let anyone know that this thing belongs to us. Otherwise there will be unnecessary trouble. Hurry up and bring the rest of the medicine back to me." "Brother, don't be angry. I'll get it now." Although Wang Daji was a playboy, he was frightened of his brother. He quickly ran back to his room and brought back the remaining half of the bottle of pink medicine. Wang Desheng took the medicine and looked at it. Then he turned around and put it into a cabinet next to him. This cabinet was completely his personal belongings. There were all kinds of bottles and cans in it. Suddenly his expression froze. He picked up a glass bottle filled with white powder. There was only half of the powder left in it. He then picked up another bottle that was close to it. There was also less powder in it. He suddenly turned around and shouted at Wang Daji, "Did you touch my powder?" Wang Daji was shocked. He mumbled for a long time, but he couldn't say a complete sentence. Wang Desheng grabbed him by the collar and growled, "Tell me, what did you do with my medicine?" Seeing that he couldn't hide it, Wang Daji quickly said, "Brother, don't be angry. In fact, I didn't do anything. I just took these things to fight dogs. I want to win some money." "Bastard, didn't I say that you're not allowed to touch anything here?" Hearing that Wang Daji had just used it for dog fighting, Wang Desheng's anger finally subsided a little. Wang Daji quickly said, "I won't do it again, brother. I won't do it again." Wang Desheng said, "You're not young anymore. Don't just think about fighting dogs and flirting with girls all day long. Do you know how valuable my powder is? They're much more expensive than your dogs." Seeing that his brother's tone had eased a lot, Wang Daji breathed a sigh of relief and murmured, "In fact, this thing is not very useful. I lost all my money." "Lost?" Wang Desheng asked doubtfully, "How is that possible? No matter if it's a maddening agent or a delaying agent, as long as it's used on your dog, it's impossible for you to lose." Wang Daji said angrily, "It's all because of that toy boy. I won the first day and was about to win the dogfighting ring. Who knew that he would jump out the next day? After that, I lost again and again. I lost all my money." Wang Desheng's expression changed and he asked nervously, "What? You used this powder in front of Qin Haodong?" Wang Daji said, "I just used it in the dogfighting ring. I didn't know that he was here. But don't worry, brother, he didn't find anything." "Bastard, you can't do anything right." Wang Desheng was furious and slapped Wang Daji in the face. He had now learned how terrible Qin Haodong was. If he had known that his idiot brother had exposed this powder, he would not have asked someone to go to the Chinese Medicine Academy to blackmail him. "Brother, why did you hit me?" Wang Daji covered his swollen cheek and asked aggrievedly, "Get out of here and don't let me see you again." Wang Desheng yelled angrily. Seeing that his brother was angry, Wang Daji did not dare to say anything. He could only leave the room in disgrace. After he left, Wang Desheng sat on the sofa and lit a cigarette. He had a strong ability to control his emotions. After smoking a cigarette, he had calmed down again. No matter whether the powder could be exposed or not, it had to be done. This time he had returned to Wuxia with a task from the organization. If he couldn't complete it, the severe punishment would make him tremble with fear. Thinking of this, he put out the cigarette, got up, and went to the Hall of Medical Fame. Because they came back very early, it was just the afternoon. These doctors were still working in the Hall of Medical Fame. Wang Desheng asked his secretary to call Fu Hailong to his office and said with a smile, Mr. Fu, you've worked hard for this morning's free clinic. Fu Hailong shook his head and said, Master Wang, you must be joking. I didn't expect this to happen this morning. I'm really not worthy of your expectations. It's not your fault, Mr. Fu. I underestimated the reputation of the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. It's my fault. Wang Desheng was very generous. He took the responsibility and said, Mr. Fu, in fact, the free clinic doesn't matter too much. The most important thing for us now is to develop a heavyweight medicine, such as the blood revival elixir of Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Company. As long as we can come up with 1 or 2 medicines of this level, it will be difficult for the Wuxia Hall of Medical Fame not to become famous. Fu Hailong shook his head and said, Master, your idea is good, but it's too difficult to implement. For so many years, only Qin Haodong has made the blood revival elixir. It's not so easy to develop medicine to cure terminal diseases. Wang Desheng said, I'm a layman in Chinese medicine, but I know that you should have some ancestral secret prescriptions in your hands. Can't you take them out and produce them? As long as your medicine is good enough, you can rest assured that you will be satisfied with the price. Fu Hailong said with a wry smile, Master, there are some things that can't be solved with money. You're right. We old guys have some secret prescriptions in our hands. We don't usually give them out, but these medicines can only treat some ordinary diseases. We don't have any heavyweight medicines like leukemia. Also, 90% of our prescriptions need to feel the patient's pulse first and adjust the dosage and type of medicinal materials according to the patient's condition and specific situation. We can't mass-produce them like the blood revival elixir, which can adapt to all patients. I see. Wang Desheng was slightly disappointed and said, Mr. Fu, you go ahead. I'll think of other ways. After that, he sent Fu Hailong away and asked his secretary to invite Lu Baikuan. After some talk, the result was the same. Lu Baikuan couldn't come up with a good prescription that could be mass-produced. Wang Desheng was not discouraged. He talked to the doctors of the Hall of Medical Fame one by one, trying to find the results he wanted. Before he knew it, the sun was setting. He had talked to almost all the doctors of the Hall of Medical Fame, but the results made him very discouraged. These people either couldn't come up with decent prescriptions or could only treat some ordinary diseases. They couldn't achieve the effect of the blood revival elixir. Wang Desheng sighed. He had thought that as long as he was willing to pay, he would be able to buy a prescription similar to the blood revival elixir from these old Chinese medicine doctors. It seemed that he still didn't understand the Chinese medicine industry and underestimated the difficulty of developing a new medicine. If this situation continued, his bold words at the press conference would become a joke. He had boasted that the Hall of Medical Fame would be able to develop an elixir comparable to the blood revival elixir. Now it seemed that it was almost impossible. At this time, the secretary opened the door and brought in the last Chinese medicine doctor named Zhang Guoyang. He was only in his 40s, the youngest and lowest among all the doctors of the Hall of Medical Fame. Wang Desheng adjusted his mood and asked, Dr. Zhang, do you have any prescription with a unique effect? As long as you can come up with it, you can name the price. Our company will definitely treat you well. Zhang Guoyang, who had already understood the purpose of Wang Desheng's talk, said with a wry smile, I'm sorry, boss. I really don't have such a thing. Wang Desheng looked disappointed. When he was about to ask the secretary to see him off, he heard Zhang Guoyang say, It's a pity. My family originally had a secret ancestral prescription that could cure all kinds of kidney diseases. Unfortunately, it was burned when the Japanese invaded. Now it's just an incomplete prescription. Wang Desheng's eyes lit up as he asked, Dr. Zhang, what's going on? Tell me in detail. Zhang Guoyang said proudly, My great-grandfather was an imperial doctor in the palace. He often treated the emperor and the empress dowager. My family has a secret ancestral prescription called the 9 Treasures Kidney Nourishing Pill. This medicine is very effective for all kinds of kidney diseases. Morning it can be effectively treated as small as diarrhea and uremia. It's a pity that when the Japanese invaded the Central Plains, they burned down my old house. Even though we managed to snatch the formula of the 9 Treasure Kidney Nourishing Pill, one of the original 9 herbs was missing, and only 8 of them were left. It became an incomplete formula. Wang Desheng asked, Doesn't anyone in your family know what's written on the prescription? Can't you just make it whole? Zhang Guoyang shook his head and said, It's called an ancestral prescription because it's passed down from generation to generation. It's never allowed to be passed down to outsiders. Therefore, the secret prescription of my family can only be passed down to one person in each generation. My great-grandfather was burned to death before he could pass it on to my grandfather. No one alive knows what's written on the prescription, so naturally it can't be made up. Wang Desheng sighed and said, "Is there no other way to remedy it?" Zhang Guoliang said, "After my great-grandfather passed away, our family continued to be doctors for generations. My grandfather and my father have tried many kinds of medicinal materials to add to the incomplete prescription, but they can't reach the effect of the 9 treasures kidney-nourishing pill." Wang Desheng said, "Only one of the 9 medicines is missing. If we try a few more times we will succeed, right?" Zhang Guoliang said, "It's too difficult. There are tens of thousands of Chinese medicinal materials in Wuxia. It's not easy to mix them. In addition, Chinese medicine is very particular, and it's difficult to control the amount of medicine used. Sometimes it will be poisoned if we use too much and it won't work if we use too little. Although our family has tried many times, we still haven't been able to make up the prescription of the 9 treasures kidney-nourishing pill." Wang Desheng thought for a moment and suddenly asked, "What if there are only 8 medicines and one is missing?" Chapter 325. What a pity, what a pity? Wang Desheng sighed again and again. He seemed to feel sorry for the Zhang family's Jiubao kidney-nourishing pill. Then he said, "Dr. Zhang, I have an idea. Can you sell me your incomplete prescription?" "No way." Zhang Guoliang shook his head quickly and said, "My grandfather left an ancestral instruction. This incomplete prescription can't be spread or used." Wang Desheng said, "Dr. Zhang, it's useless for you to keep such an incomplete prescription. You might as well sell it to me. You can name the price." Zhang Guoliang said, "Boss Wang, to tell you the truth, this prescription is very harmful to the liver. It can't be used. Otherwise it will cause serious consequences." Wang Desheng said with a smile, "Dr. Zhang, you misunderstood me. I'm a businessman. My purpose is to make money. How could I do such a stupid thing? I want medicine to cure diseases, not to harm people." Zhang Guoliang said in surprise, "Then what do you want this prescription for?" Wang Desheng said, "I'm going to set up a laboratory in the Hall of Medical Fame. It's very difficult for the Wang family to complete this incomplete prescription, and the conditions don't allow it. But if it's in my laboratory it will be different. Although the process is a bit long, I think one day I will complete this prescription, and then it will bring me a lot of money." Zhang Guoliang responded. He thought Wang Desheng's statement was reasonable, but he still said, "I'm sorry, Boss Wang. I still can't sell it to you. Our family has an ancestral instruction. This prescription can't be spread." Wang Desheng said, "Dr. Zhang, you still won't let go of the ancestral instruction at this time. What's the use of keeping such a broken prescription? It's useless to keep it. It's better to exchange it for some money to improve the lives of your wife and children. How about this? I'll pay you 5 million and you sell me the prescription." 5 million? Zhang Guoliang was shocked. Although he was a famous Chinese medicine practitioner, he hadn't saved 5 million in all these years. After thinking for a moment, he shook his head and said, "I'm sorry, boss. I really can't sell it." 10 million. Wang Desheng looked calm and doubled the price. He seemed to be sure that Zhang Guoliang would sell him the prescription. "Boss Wang, it's really not about money. 20 million? 50 million? When Wang Desheng shouted the price, Zhang Guoliang was so surprised that he couldn't close his mouth. It was 50 million yuan, which was more than he could earn in his lifetime. He gritted his teeth and said, "Well, Boss Wang, since you want to buy it, I'll sell it, but I have a condition." Wang Desheng smirked and said, "If you have any conditions, just tell me. As long as I can do it, I will satisfy you." Zhang Guoliang said, "I have a son who is 20 years old this year. He doesn't like traditional Chinese medicine and doesn't go to school well. I want to send him to study in M country. I heard that you came back from M country. Can you help me? As long as you can help me, I'll give you the prescription immediately." "No problem." Wang Desheng agreed without hesitation. "It's easy to study abroad. I have a lot of friends in M country. I can guarantee that your son will go abroad within a week. You don't have to worry about the money. As long as you give me the prescription, I'll transfer it to your account immediately." "That's great. Thank you, boss. I'll go home now and get the prescription for you." Zhang Guoliang had a son named Zhang Shuai. This boy was indeed a bit of a loafer, which gave him a headache. He didn't like learning traditional Chinese medicine and cried that he wanted to go abroad. Today he had finally solved his son's problem and removed a big worry for him. As for the incomplete prescription, as Wang Desheng had said, it was useless for his family to keep it. Since it could be sold for so much money, he might as well sell it. Even if something went wrong, it had nothing to do with him. Well, I'll wait for you here, Wang Deshang said with a smile. Boss, I'll be back soon, Zhang Guoyang said as he turned around and left. He was really fast. More than half an hour later, he hurried back to the office with a small wooden box in his arms. Boss, here's the prescription. As he spoke, he placed the small wooden box on the desk and opened the lid, revealing a black and yellow prescription inside. The yellow side was too old and the black side was burned. It was obvious that a corner was missing, and one of the 9 medicinal materials recorded on it was missing. Boss, this is the prescription of the Jiubao kidney nourishing pill. Please take it, Zhang Guoyang said as he handed the incomplete ancient prescription to Wang Deshang. Good. Wang Deshang's eyes flashed. He took the prescription and looked at it, then put it in his pocket. Then he called his secretary in and said, "Go to the finance department and give me a cash check for 50 million yuan. The secretary said, "Boss, don't you know what time it is? The finance department has already gotten off work." Wang Deshang patted his head and said to Zhang Guoyang apologetically, "Dr. Zhang, I have a bad memory. When I'm busy I forget the time. How about I ask the finance department to give you the money tomorrow?" "No problem, I'm not in a hurry to use it." Zhang Guoyang trusted Wang Deshang 100%. After all, Wang's group had tens of billions of assets, so he didn't need his money. Wang Deshang said, "I just called a friend in M country. Go back tonight and prepare your son's information. Send it to him tomorrow. Within a week, the study abroad will be settled." "Great, thank you, boss," Zhang Guoyang said gratefully. At the same time, he was also very happy. The prescription that had been useless to him not only solved the problem of his son's study abroad, but also earned him a lot of money. It was like a pie falling from the sky. "Come on, let's have a drink to celebrate." Wang Deshang was also very happy. He picked up the red wine next to him and poured a glass for each of them. Zhang Guoyang said with some embarrassment, "Boss, this is not good. I'm still driving." Wang Deshang said carelessly, "What are you afraid of? A glass of red wine won't have much impact. As long as you don't leave Jiangnan City, I can handle anything for you. It's rare to be happy today. We have to celebrate." "Well, I'll drink this glass." Zhang Guoyang was a good drinker. He really didn't care about this glass of red wine. He picked up the glass and clinked it with Wang Deshang, then drank it up. Wang Deshang also drank up the wine in his glass. He put down the glass and said, "Dr. Zhang, I won't keep you. I'll ask the finance department to give you the money tomorrow morning." "Thank you, boss." Zhang Guoyang said goodbye to Wang Deshang and turned to leave the office. Looking at his back, Wang Deshang sneered and murmured, "Don't worry, I'll burn it for you." Zhang Guoyang left the Wuxia Hall of Medical Fame and drove his Passat home again. It was already night and the rush hour had passed. There were not many cars on the road. He was in a good mood and drove very fast. Suddenly, a construction dredge truck carrying construction waste drove out from the opposite construction site. He hurriedly stepped on the brakes to slow down, but he was surprised to find that although he had this idea in his mind, his body did not respond. Zhang Guoyang was shocked. He desperately wanted to step on the brakes, but no matter how hard he tried, his body did not move. He wanted to shout, but no sound came out. Wang Deshang I. *CKU. *CKU. This was Zhang Guoyang's last thought. Then with a loud bang the Passat collided with the dredge truck. He completely lost consciousness. Qin Haodong and the doctors of the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association were busy until the sun went down. Then they ended today's free clinic. He stood up and moved his stiff limbs. He turned his head and saw Naylan Wuxia, who was in casual clothes, staring at him. "When did you come?" Qin Haodong asked. "I came after work. I saw you were busy, so I didn't disturb you." Qin Haodong asked, "How's the case going? Did you manage to dig out any useful clues from those two guys?" Naylan Wuxia gave him a charming look and said discontentedly, "You asked me this when we met. Didn't you ask me if I had eaten?" "There's no need to ask. You definitely haven't eaten." Qin Haodong said, "Let's go. I'm hungry. Let's go have dinner together. What do you want to eat? Just tell me." Naylan Wuxia said, "I know a Sichuan restaurant. The taste is very authentic. Let's go there." They got in the car. Half an hour later, they arrived at the Sichuan restaurant mentioned by Naylan Wuxia. The decoration of the restaurant was not too gorgeous, but they could smell the spicy aroma of the Sichuan restaurant from a distance. It was very appetizing. They found a table and sat down. After ordering a few dishes, Qin Haodong asked, Can you tell me now? Do you have any clues? Nayland Wuxia said, these two people were just ordinary blackmailers. They were completely used by others. The other party did it very cleanly and didn't leave any useful clues. Although it was not much different from what he had imagined, Qin Haodong was still a little disappointed. He said, it's a pity. If I don't catch the person behind the scenes, he will definitely trouble me again in the future. Nayland Wuxia said, in fact it's easy to guess who did it. Qin Haodong smiled and said, then who do you think did it? Your rival in love. Nayland Wuxia said with a smile, that day, you trampled on the faces of the Wang family and delayed Wang Deshang's confession, so it's normal for him to find some way to get back at you. Qin Haodong looked at her and said, you're really well informed. How did you know so soon? Of course. The circle in Jiangnan is not big. Anything can spread quickly. Nayland Wuxia said, in addition your Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association and Wang Deshang's Hall of Medical Fame are completely competitors. It would be strange if he didn't find some way to make trouble for you. Qin Haodong nodded and said, what you said is reasonable but it's not absolute. I have a lot of enemies and there are even more people who want the blood revival elixir. Therefore, I can't be sure that it was Wang Deshang who did it without evidence, although he is very suspicious. Then he asked, by the way, did your technical department test the guy's blood? Did you find out what medicine he used when he faked his death? Nayland Wuxia said, yes, but nothing was found. The guy's blood tests were all normal. There was no sign of using medicine at all. You can't find out? Qin Haodong's heart skipped a beat. It was very similar to the poison that Dabai and Erbai had been poisoned with a few days ago. It was difficult to detect the type of poison with existing medical means. Thinking of this, he took out his mobile phone and dialed Hu Xiaoxian's number. Xiaoxian, how's the test of the samples I sent you a few days ago? Is there any result? In the dogfighting ring, he had asked Bai Zipping to collect the fur and blood of Wang Daji's dogs and send the samples to Hu Xiaoxian. However, he had been so busy these days that he had forgotten to ask about the results. Chapter 326. On the other side of the phone, Hu Xiaoxian said coquettishly, little man, I have the result, but you have to say whether you miss me first and then I will tell you. Qin Haodong looked at Nayland Wuxia next to him awkwardly and whispered, Xiaoxian, can you tell me the result first? No, if you don't say something nice, who will work for you for free? Hu Xiaoxian laughed again, is there another woman next to you, so you are embarrassed to say it? Qin Haodong became more and more embarrassed. This woman was really too smart. Tell me or not. If not, I will hang up the phone. It seemed that Hu Xiaoxian intended to embarrass Qin Haodong. Xiaoxian, stop it. I really have something urgent now and I need your result. What's urgent when you are with a beautiful woman? I think it's inconvenient for you to talk so you can kiss me. Hu Xiaoxian continued to tease him. Qin Haodong regretted making the phone call in front of Nayland Wuxia. He didn't know what to say for a while. Fortunately, it was noisy in the restaurant, so Nayland Wuxia didn't seem to notice what they were talking about. Well, since it's inconvenient, I won't embarrass you. Can you owe me first? Okay. Qin Haodong said hurriedly. He would talk about the future later. He had to get through this first. That's what you said. Don't deny it. Hu Xiaoxian said seriously, the samples you sent contain a kind of genetic toxin. This technology is very advanced, and it can only be detected by the Scientific Research Institute in Wuxia. It can't be found in local hospitals at all. Genetic toxin? It was the first time that Qin Haodong had heard this term. Yes, this is the test result of the Wuxia Scientific Research Institute. It is absolutely authoritative. Nayland Wuxia said, it's just a very strange thing. This kind of high-tech genetic toxin is very expensive. Each gram is hundreds of times more expensive than gold. I don't know why they are willing to put it on dogs. Qin Haodong was not sure where Wang Daji got this kind of thing. He said, I don't know, I just found it in the dogfighting ring. Little man, your medical skills are really amazing. The Scientific Research Institute used the most advanced instruments to find this toxin, but you actually found it by relying on people. No wonder so many women like you. It seems that I have to keep a close eye on you in the future, or I won't even have a sip of soup. Oh, I still have something to do. I'll hang up first. Qin Haodong hurriedly hung up the phone. If he continued to talk, he didn't know what this charming woman would say. What's wrong? Why are you blushing? Nayland Wuxia looked at him and asked. Qin Haodong said awkwardly, oh, it's nothing. Maybe the food is too spicy. What did you say? The dishes we ordered haven't arrived yet. It's too hot here, that's why I'm blushing. Nalan Wuxia looked at him strangely and didn't continue the topic. The traffic policeman behind them said, "Drunk driving really kills people. If this man hadn't been drunk and stepped on the brakes, he would probably be fine. At least he wouldn't have hit so hard." Then he sniffed and said, "What a strong smell of alcohol. I don't know how much he has drunk." Qin Haodong also sniffed. Suddenly his expression changed. Then he bent down and carefully examined the dead man. Seeing his strange expression, Nalan Wuxia asked, "What's wrong?" Qin Haodong said in a low voice, "This man didn't just drink. There is a breath of genetic toxin on him. That is to say, he was not completely drunk driving. He was poisoned. The reason why the smell of alcohol is so strong should have something to do with this toxin. He didn't necessarily drink so much. How could this be? Who is this man? Who poisoned him?" As the captain of the crime squad, Nalan Wuxia had to be nervous after encountering genetic toxins twice in just one day. Qin Haodong said, "It's not clear yet, but the preliminary guess is that the person who poisoned him is likely to have something to do with the racketeering case during the day. This is a good clue. We must find out." While the two of them were talking, an ambulance arrived late. Two doctors got out of the ambulance. After examining the dead man's condition, they directly announced that the man was dead and issued a death notice. At the same time, they took the dead man's blood for a test. Soon the test result came out. The blood alcohol content was only 30. The traffic policeman was slightly stunned and said in surprise, "Doctor, is there a mistake? Why is it only 30? It looks like he has at least 300. The doctor also felt a little strange after hearing what he said. He took the blood again and got the same result. The traffic policeman had no choice but to use this conclusion as the standard for the verdict. At the same time, it also verified Qin Haodong's statement just now. The man didn't drink too much, but the toxin increased the smell of alcohol, making people mistakenly think that he was driving drunk. Nalan Wuxia whispered, "Do you think this case is not a traffic accident?" Qin Haodong nodded. It seemed that someone had done something to him and wanted to kill him through a traffic accident, but he didn't know what the purpose behind it was. Nalan Wuxia turned to the traffic policeman and said, "Have you found out the identity of the dead man?" A driver's license was found on him. The dead man's name is Zhang Guoyang, 45 years old. We don't know anything else, but his family has been notified. While they were talking, there was a burst of crying. A middle-aged woman in her 40s and a young man in his 20s squeezed into the crowd and burst into tears on Zhang Guoyang's body. In contrast, Zhang Guoyang's son, Zhang Shuai, was more emotionally stable. Nalan Wuxia said to him, "I'm from the Jiangnan crime squad. I don't think your father's case is that simple. I want to know more about him. Can you answer a few questions for me?" Zhang Shuai wiped his tears and asked, "Do you mean that my father was not killed in a traffic accident, but was killed by someone?" Nalan Wuxia said, "I'm not sure yet, but it's a possibility." Zhang Shuai said, "Well, ask me. If my father was killed, you must put the murderer in prison." "I promise you it's my duty." Nalan Wuxia asked, "What's your father's occupation?" Zhang Shuai said, "He was a Chinese medicine practitioner. He used to run his own clinic and went to the Wuxia Hall of Medical Fame a few days ago." Hearing the words Wuxia Hall of Medical Fame, Qin Haodong and Nalan Wuxia's faces changed. They didn't expect that the dead man had something to do with the Wuxia Hall of Medical Fame. Nalan Wuxia asked, "What did your father do before the accident? Did he drink with anyone?" Zhang Shuai said, "An hour ago my father came home in a hurry. He looked very happy. I don't know what he took and left. About 40 minutes ago he called home and asked us to wait for him to have dinner together. He said that he had good news to tell me and my mother. He hadn't eaten yet, so he didn't drink." After that, Nalan Wuxia asked a few more questions, but she didn't get much information. She turned to look at Qin Haodong and said, "Is there anything else you want to ask?" "No, it's enough." The first time they found out that the gene toxin was taken out by Wang Daji. The second time they found out that the gene toxin was likely to have something to do with the Wuxia Hall of Medical Fame. Now the third time they found out that the gene toxin was related to the Wuxia Hall of Medical Fame. If the first time was a coincidence, then the third time was definitely not as simple as a coincidence. It was very likely to have something to do with Wang Deshang. Nalan Wuxia obviously realized this and said, "What should we do next? Do you need me to arrest Wang Deshang now?" Qin Haodong shook his head and said, "It's too early to arrest Wang Deshang. We don't have strong evidence at the moment. It's all speculation. Let's go to Wang Daji and ask him." Wang Daji felt very depressed after being slapped and scolded by Wang Deshang. He drove away from home and made an appointment with a female delinquent he often hung out with. The two of them first had a drink in the bar and then booked a room in the hotel next door. They had just taken off their clothes. When they were about to have a big fight, the door was suddenly opened from the outside. Then Qin Haodong and Nalan Wuxia came in. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.